Greetings, family. Welcome to Pan-Africanism towards Nationhood, building a global Black business pipeline. And greetings, family. And tonight you're here with Bomani Tyehimba of Africa for the Africans, Tours and Investments. And I'm here with my good brother, Kala Genesis of the Black African Infrastructure Organization and Kala Genesis Radio. And family, we're the kings of Pan-Africanism with a unique vision towards nationhood. Yes, my good brother, Color Genesis, welcome back. People got to get used to us only being on once a week because we tell them that we have a whole lot of work to do and we don't have much time to entertain. So this is after hours, but even after hours, we still got work to do.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, brother? How's the day
Well,
going?
I want to say, first of all, thank you for that you helped me today with that thing. And folks,
It's about
you want
MailChimp.
technology, if you really want technology, this guy Bomani knows what he's talking about, man. Because I was completely lost in what you did. You said, "Oh, you got it now?" No, I don't got it. You have to work on my campaigns. No, I don't. I forgot everything you just did, man. You just blip,
For
blip,
real,
blip, 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 open this up and did. I'm like, what the hell you doing, man? I don't know none of this stuff. See, I was smart at computers before the smartphone. I was actually good. Remember that? Remember the Netscape? You had to dial in and all that stuff like that. And you had to figure faggots. So you want to watch some shady shit online, talk about, right? You found a way how to get online and make that shit work, back in the days, But now with smartphones, man,
yeah,
everybody's
absolutely.
dumb. Everybody's dumb. I don't know what nobody operates computers no more. I don't know how to do jack, man, anymore. I do stuff like that. But appreciate it though. So I hope that gives you some marketing. People listen to this, man. Call that Bomani Technologies. It's real good.
That's what we do, brother. All the stuff you see me have, all the marketing, all the sales operation. That's what we do. Complete business operation of high tech operation of technology and business. But yes, family, let's get into it. Tonight's topic is a close look at African coup d'état. Are they justified? And this is the Afrikstan analysis with Bomani Tyehimba and Kala Genesis. And Kala Genesis is gonna break it down for you. Yes, my good brother, get him a good introduction, and then I'll share some updates on our schedule with folks about our Liberia journey.
All right. Back in the 60s and everything like that, we had how many coups in Nigeria, all over Africa, coup d'etat, and that was based on, who the West wanted to put in power. And they basically like this. People don't understand when you talk about the CIA. Do you know the CIA has a profile on every group of people in the world? They know the student groups. They know what they like. They know the music. They control the music. They control what's popular. They control what's fashionable and everything like that. So anytime they want to, they can make a popular leader in a country unpopular by changing the culture and elevating student groups. So they say, we got this student group over here of 25 people, and they elevate the group of people. And they did that with the coup of Iran. Okay. Now tell me why the Iran overthrew a democratically elected government. A democratically elected government that seized the oil and given all the money back to the people. So if they could basically turn using the media to turn their own people against the ruler of Iran, who basically was giving them money, oil, education, and taking it from the Western firms, you see how they work. They can use the media propaganda. So whoever who controlling that propaganda is how they engineer coups. Okay, that was back then. Okay, the coups that we see now, I think, are a little more into it. I think they're more organic and they're coming from a place of dissatisfaction. And what people are trying to do is they're trying to link the coups that you see now with the past coups in back in the days where it was clearly CIA engineered. You still got people out here talking about, yeah, man, the CIA engineers coup. Why would the CIA engineer coups? And this is going to go back to the whole topic of the show. Why would the CIA, and the CIA got it wrong on weapons of mass destruction. The CIA is not the CIA of the 1960s during the Cold War. The CIA is nowadays more interested in diversity and gender fluidity and all this kind of foolishness that they talk about now. So you can't use the CIA now. And so what I'm trying to say is what you have with the coups of today are actual real coups that have happened organically. These aren't coups that were sponsored by the West. However, a couple of them were with this African situation and thing. But now the smoke is cleared, right? We had several coups and everything. And the last coups that the standing are the coups that came organically from the people. Okay. So that's what you have right now. Now, with tonight's topic, I want to focus on particularly the coup of Liberia of 1980. Okay. To me, that was the most controversial coup. And the fact that Liberia never had a colonial history. So basically, when you have a coup in Africa, for the most part, like you had the coups in Nigeria and the Ghana and everything, it's just basically who has a favorable position towards a former slave master. That's how Mobutu Sese Seko overthrew Patrice Lumumba. Okay, they profiled Mobutu Sese Seko. They know what you like. He likes girls. He likes partying. He likes women. He likes that. He wants power, right? What kind of power does he want? Does he want black power? That's the most important thing they threaten on. Does he a Pan-African? Is he a black power? Or does he want power for himself? We'll give him power, but does his power will basically conflict with our interest there? No, he just wants power. Guess what? That's our guy. So what they do is they profile him, these young students, young guys in college, right? They listen to their speeches. They invite them over to the Netherlands, whatnot. They hook them up with white women or whatever like that. Or they put them in a world where money's nothing, and they give them star power. They meet with these people, and then they brainwash them. Then they send them back to Africa to do their bidding. I hope everybody understood what I just said. I think I might just say that a few times. That's the genesis of the coup, of the Western engineered coup. Okay, it happened in Ethiopia. It happened in Liberia. It happened in Zambia. It happened in Zimbabwe. It happened all over the African continent. Right, same pattern. But the thing that it happened in Chile. You know, with Pinochet. Okay. It happens all over the world, right? It happens all over the world where people don't put their foot down. It happened in Uganda, right? But the thing is, they made a mistake with Idi Amin, is because they thought that they was going to be able to control Idi Amin. They made a big mistake. They saw him as this big, pompous buffoon. He was friends of Golda Meir. He was joking. He was a member of the King's African Rifles. He was doing all this stuff. And so they figured he was a perfect guy to get rid of to Milton Obote, who's a threat to their interest in Uganda and East Africa, you know. So they made a friggin' fatal mistake supporting Idi Amin. You know, they were shocked. He turned on Israel. He turned on the Queen of England. He turned on all these people. Right? He rounded up. Idi Amin was preemptive. He killed a lot of CIA supporters and Western supporters and jailed them and whatnot to keep power. You know, he didn't wait for a coup or a bomb to take. He took all these people out, but they made it seem like he was this tyrant. What he was, right? He was a butcher, but all he know, he was reality was these Western people wanted to topple him and they wanted to kill him in the worst way. So he had to react the way that was thing. And the CIA and the Western propaganda have a way of making people who are defending themselves, right, or trying to establish some sort of law and order, the bad guy, you know. So that's what you have, you know. So with that, you could. That's my intro.
Yes, Color Genesis. That is the intro. That is the beginning of a storm coming for them, brother. Absolutely, I'm with you on that. So let me check the chat, see if anybody have anything that they're looking to share with you or connect with you on. All right, so the chat is quiet.
Okay. Well, they'll be here, all right.
So, family, once again, the topic is a close look at African coup d'etat. Are they justified? So, Color Genesis is going to break it down with the Afrikstan analysis.
Right, you
So
want to do
family,
your intro?
I'm gonna play a nice intro, and this is Bomani's 17 years experience on the journey of a lifetime to 10 countries on the 30 plus tours across the African continent from 2006 to 2023. So this is a nice short intro, and then we just share some more details, and then get back to our regular scheduled program with College Genesis, and after that, those who are ready can just join in the call.
Have you ever pondered what it would be like to invest in the heart of the world, Africa? Today, we delve into the journey of a man who dared to dream, dared to venture, and dared to invest in the vast and vibrant continent. Meet Bomani Tyehimba, the driving force behind Africa for the Africans Tours and Investments. Picture this: a young boy born in Kingston, Jamaica, and raised in the bustling boroughs of New York City. Despite the concrete jungle, Bomani was always drawn to the rich heritage of his ancestors, the pulsating rhythm of Africa. His curiosity sparked a passion that would lead him to establish Africa for the Africans Tours and Investments. Bomani's journey wasn't a straight path, nor was it an easy one. He faced numerous challenges, both personal and professional. Yet, his unwavering resolve and staunch belief in the potential of Africa saw him through. He understood that Africa was not just a destination. It was an opportunity, a chance to build, grow, and contribute to the continent's ever-evolving narrative. Africa for the Africans Tours and Investments was born out of Bomani's desire to bridge the gap between Africa and the African diaspora. He wanted to create a platform that would enable people of African descent to explore their roots, understand their heritage, and most importantly, invest in their ancestral land. Through his organization, Bomani has been able to facilitate a variety of investment opportunities in Africa. From real estate to agriculture, from technology to tourism, Bomani has strived to showcase the vast potential that lies within the continent. He believes in the power of investment, not just as a means to generate wealth, but as a tool for sustainable development and economic empowerment. Bomani's work transcends the realm of business. He is a cultural ambassador, a bridge between continents, a beacon of hope for those seeking to reconnect with their roots. His tours are not just about sightseeing, they are journeys of discovery, of understanding, of connection. So what can we glean from Bomani Tyehimba's journey? First, passion is a powerful driver. It was Bomani's passion for Africa that led him to establish his organization. Second, investment is not just about money. It's about contributing to the growth and development of a community, a country, a continent. And lastly, connecting with one's roots can be a transformative experience, one that can inspire, empower, and ignite a sense of belonging. In the end, Bomani Tyehimba's story is a testament to the power of passion, perseverance, and purpose. It's a story about dreaming big, taking risks, and making a difference. It's a story that reminds us that investing in Africa is not just about financial gain. It's about cultural enrichment, economic empowerment, and sustainable development. To sum up, Bomani Tyehimba's journey is a shining example of how one man's passion can create a ripple effect, impacting not just his life, but the lives of countless others. Through Africa for the Africans Tours and Investments, Bomani has been able to connect people with their roots, facilitate investment opportunities, and contribute to the growth and development of Africa.
Yes, family, the journey of a lifetime continues.
Every time I see that video, I'm like, Bomani's my hero, man. You know, you ought to get a cape, man, with a big Bomani on it, you know, like a superhero and shit, you know? I'm serious, you're my hero, bro. You know? But in all seriousness, you know, are you done with this? Or you want to go?
Yeah, just showing the schedule for our Liberia journey and so on. Okay. So let me go to our website, family. That's where all action is, africafortheafricans.org. And once you're on our website, enjoy the beautiful music on MP3 player on the left if you're on your desktop or your laptop. Just click on play and it'll play, and just turn up your volume. And then enjoy the 17 years of beautiful photos across the African continent. And once you scroll down, that's where you'll see the schedule on the main menu to your left, or right there on the front page. So that is our schedule for 2024 and 2025. And this is the closeout for 2023. I just got back from our Tanzania Roots and Culture tour, November 16th to the 27th. And on the way to South Africa for our second journey of a lifetime. That's December 24th to January 4th. So family, that is a little bit over a week away. So getting everything organized to head out to tropical paradise and beautiful South Africa. So as usual, all the videos and documentation will be on our website, on YouTube, and shared around. So you can just check it out. And if you're interested again, then next journey is a year later. But that is the closeout for this year. And we start off the year fresh in spring for our Liberia and Morocco Roots and Culture Journey, March 29th to April 9th, 2024. So we have a beautiful group of people ready to go and looking to add more people. The itinerary has been upgraded and competitive with anything else that's out there to give you an incredible introduction to the African continent. Then after that, we'll proceed for our summer getaway to Ghana on our Ghana Repatriation Investment Tour. That's July 11th to the 23rd. That's our 24th journey there in Ghana on the year of 2024. Then fall comes along, and we're gonna take that journey to the Nile Valley Civilization. That's our Egypt Roots and Culture Tour, November 21st to December 2nd. And then we're gonna close out the year in South Africa again. So that is 4 journeys lined up for 2024. So there we are in South Africa, December 24th to January 4th, and get back on the 2025 new year. 2025, the schedule plan ahead that way. For those who are looking to journey with us, you can plan along. If one don't work for you, you have others ready for you. We'll start the spring off with Senegal and Gambia. That's April 1st to 11th. Then our Ghana Roots and Culture Journey, May 24th to June 5th. And then we're going to close out the year in Brazil. That's November 21st to December 1st. And that's all 2025, the last 3. So that is our schedule. So those who are interested, link with us, connect with us. All the details is right below. And we'll connect you to an incredible journey of a lifetime experience. Yes, my good brother Kala, as we continue on to our scheduled program. That is our topic. And that is the brand. Yes, family, as we talk about a close look at African coup d'etat, are they justified? So Kala Genesis is going to break it down with the science of the Afrikstan analysis.
One thing
go ahead.
But no, the one thing I want to emphasize is this, right? When you watch coups very, very carefully around the world, wherever like that, in a civilized country, if there's a change in power, right? Like what I think is progress is the president of Niger, I forgot the guy's name, right? Although they had a coup d'etat, they didn't drag him through the streets, and bloody his body, and they was sitting there, yay, and all kinds of stuff like this. So what this tells me is that we're making some sort of progress, and our level of civilization is climbing a little bit. Same thing happened in Burkina Faso, Niger, in Mali, bloodless coups. The president was detained in his house and stuff like house arrest and everything. You do, or then if you have charges against him, right? You bring the charges against him in a court of law and everything. I do believe, right, in that context, right, Africa is ready to engage us in the West as far as like building and resettlement and stuff like this, because let me tell you something, right? People don't understand something, right? And we got a whole show tonight, so we're going to get into it, right? And we're going to be frank tonight, and we're going to tell it like it is, right? when a coup happened, mine's laughing, right? And I'm gonna say some things, right, that's gonna offend people, But when a coup happens, this one old Liberian told me, right? He was a Liberian diplomat. He passed away not too long ago, right? I introduced him to Rosenthal. I have a Liberian network, right? But this guy used to be a minister of something like that with the Tolbert government. And he was living in Baltimore. He's an old guy. He would talk to me. He said, look, this is what you have to do. Boom, boom, boom. He said, make sure when you go to these countries, right, that you have a strong relationship with your local embassy and your government and everything like that. He goes, this is what happens when you have a coup. The first thing they do is when these military coups happen is they go, what's in the bank? What's in the central bank? By the time they loot and divvy up what's in the bank and whatnot, right? And then they start negotiating to the foreign government, whoever engineered the coup, how to get debt relief and all stuff like that. Debt relief, but the main thing is it's their time to eat. So they have nothing stopping them from looting the treasury, for misappropriating funds and everything like that. And you, as an investor, if you have their money in their central bank, your money's gone. Okay, if you got gold sitting there, he told me, he said, look, if you guys are going to do, he told Rosenthal about the bullion bank. He says, look, it's best that the bullion bank money, that I don't know if Rosenthal, he did or what, like that, but it seems like he did. He said, have the money stored in offshore, right, where you can get credit for something like maybe in London or the Federal Reserve, whatever like that, but don't ever keep it in unstable African countries. And I said, what was unstable? He said, look, any country in Africa, right, when you have a lot of poverty and you have unrest and everything, you have a disconnect between what the country says it is and what people says it is, tribalism, religious sectarianism, everything, the country will dissolve anytime. We saw that in the Central African Republic. The country just simply dissolved. It wasn't even a coup. It was Muslims and Christians, armies just start fighting for power and everything like that. And the president and the cabinet and everybody fled the country. So you got a whole administration fled the country, and the military just going over and everybody just picking up scraps, and the country completely dissolved. Because it was built on a weak foundation. And a lot of the foundation that's weak in Africa is propped up by the West. Recently, and I love Zambia. Now, my Zambian peeps down there, don't take offense to what I'm about to say, okay? Malapupwe, don't get mad at me, man. Don't throw no poison darts at my picture, my crew down in Zambia. Don't get mad at me. Zambia has just been announced has surpassed Chile in precious gems and stone producers in the world. Now, the way the West frames this, right? This shows you how because shows like this, and if I could educate a lot of Black people and Black African people, right, we would be on the same page, right? We'd get somewhere, right? A country producing don't mean the people are benefiting. Okay? Chile, I'm willing to bet are the mining companies that's doing this are Chilean, and they're producing it, and they're making the money off it. Just because a country is so-called produced. Ghana is the number one producer of gold, but it's dirt poor. None of that gold sits in Ghana. Ghana only gets royalties, They just get the title, number one gold producer. But those are French, Canadian, American, British companies that are extracting gold and refining it and bring it offshore. It's not like when South Africa was a gold producer, right? The capital came inside the country. They had South African companies that were producing that were mining the gold, producing it, and then putting it into rand, and stocking it into a bullion and stuff like that, and cougarans. See the difference? But the Black people, we have not figured that out. Nigeria is the number one oil producer in Africa. Are the Nigerians producing it, or the oil companies producing it? They
All right, color Genesis. It look like you're frozen in time.
You have to have business connections and business acumen and
You're back
stuff like
now.
that lasts for decades. You have to have a culture of business. You can't right now. Let me stop before people gonna start hating. Yo, look, folks. I'm Black African, right? So when Africa takes L, I'm talking about myself too. You can't. What you see in Africa is just a continuation of slavery, where Africa is just mediators between the exploitation of raw material. Now it's raw material. It used to be people, right? And the West. There's no real business going on the continent. Just because you see somebody with a cell phone, a laptop, and whatnot, looking good in a restaurant. Oh, Africans are on the move. The new Africa. They're doing the same freaking thing. Somebody needs something from Africa. I'm gonna facilitate. Like my boy George, right? My boy George, man. Me and him had a falling out and everything like that because he's a Nigerian, he's a Pan-African and everything like that. He was like that, but he started getting into he was a Nawapian, I said, man, we don't need that shit, man. Blah, blah, blah. So we had a falling out, whatever it is. But George was a facilitator, right? Was a facilitator. He facilitates the same thing. I said, look, I don't want to get into that, man. I told him, look, Western company, whoever like that wants something from Nigeria. And you want to like that, you want to bring something in or bring something out. He facilitates because he has the connections. That's not getting us anywhere, And so when you have a situation where there's no coordinated economic development, where you're enfranchising the masses of people and everything like that, you are basically on the road to a coup because the people feel frustrated, and that's what you see in Burkina Faso. And President Traore said, "Look, man, we don't freaking benefit from none of this shit that goes on in our country. We're dirt poor." So he's taking steps to making sure that local Burkina Fasoans are part of the economic and industrial development of the country. So that's basically what we're talking about as far as like how to stave off coups. Any government that thinks they're gonna do the same old, you are basically asking for a coup. Because sooner or later, people feel like they're not part of the spectators in their own country. You're going to have the military is going to respond to that, right? And guess what? Your president, at least now, will be under house arrest because we realize now that most African leaders are puppets and everything. So we give them some slack. It used to be a time we overthrew a government, right? And you got the white people walking around talking about, it's sad that you guys are killing each other. Yeah, the white people just walking around, nothing to see here. They'll say, wait a minute, we're shooting down the street right here. Well, we got some white people here. We got to watch out for them. White people. Okay, look, let's stop. They let the white people pass. They go back to shooting each other. Go back to shooting each other. So I think we are making a little bit of progress as far as the black race is concerned. We are definitely making some progress. Burkina, what's it called? Burkinab. That's what they call themselves, Burkinab. Okay. I didn't know. I know what to call. I was called Fasoans, Burkina Fasoans. I don't know. Maybe that's a word. But that's what you basically have. I think we made some progress over the years. When we have a coup, the military steps in, but instead of the West saying, something, man, Africa's making progress. They didn't. Nigeria didn't kill the president and his cabinet, his whole family, and string them up, drag them through the streets. It was a bloodless coup saying we had a puppet, a clown for a president, right? We don't know how he got elected, and we took steps to remove him from power. Nigeria should be applauded for that. But no, we got friggin' coons and Africoons and whatnot and Pan-Africans that are friggin' going, oh man, Niger, man, you's in trouble now. Use France, the British, the European Union, like that idiot Tinubu in Nigeria, and that idiot Ado and these old black African men that these Negro leaders that are friggin' will do anything and book dance and shuffle for the white man. I can never understand why a man as the head of a state should be scared or do the bidding of another country so far away. That I could never understand. So tonight we're talking about the coup d'etat. the coup d'etat in not just governments, right? The coup d'etat in organizations, the coup d'etat on YouTube, you know, the coup d'etat on people that basically want to rise up and take over. And I got more YouTube subscribers than you do, so I'm in charge now. Don't tell me, Kala. You know, where's Kyle's YouTube channel and whatnot, you know? And now all the stuff is coming crashing down, all their heads and whatnot. You know, Kyle ain't got no YouTube channel. I don't have to listen to him. You know, I got it all figured out, right? And you got outright deadly clowns who are running this Pan-African movement into the ground, you know, because they pulled their own coup d'etat with their subscribers, however they have to do it and whatnot. And they're basically think they're in charge, you know? But the truth of the truth is the truth, right? And what you're going to see from the collagenesis is the truth, right? As a success of the alliance between Africa Tours and Investments and the Black African Infrastructure Organization, how strong this alliance is growing, how the success we're going to show and demonstrate to people what real Black nationalism, real Pan-African is, because we have the backing of our ancestors, right? Marcus Garvey and all these people are Kwame Nkrumah are looking down on Bomani and Kala saying, yes, we have two of our sons that's doing our work and whatnot, that's carrying us out and whatnot, you know, that can't be bought. They're not gonna sell you out for a super chat. They ain't thinking about the nickels and dimes and whatnot like that. We're gonna give you the truth, you know, and back you up if you were doing the right thing as far as the Black race is concerned. So I'll yield with that. So Bomani asked me some questions, and I'm gonna come right back, you know, because we got a good show for you tonight.
Yes, family, it's always a good show, and looking to see what the audience is saying. So we have our good brother here, Mustafa. There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Is that Wayne? Is that Wayne Wonder in there? Is that our girl Wayne?
Yes, that's Wayne right there.
Wayne! Well, Wayne, man, that's what I'm talking about, right? And this is what I'm talking about, Pan-Africans. She's my crew lady now, you know, from Liberia and whatnot. You know, we got a crew lady, we got Jamaican, we got a Black African American, we got everybody in our group working together. Isn't that Pan-Africanism?
Absolutely, 100%.
You know what? Why we work? Because we're trying to win. You know, the real Pan-Africans trying to win. We don't give a damn about your background or whatever you came from or not. If you're dusty, you're Black American, you're dusty, get the hell away. If you're dusty, you're Liberian, get away. If you're smart, we want you. You're a winner, whatever like that, we want you. You know, that's how Pan-African work. We have no obligation to accept dusty, grifting clowns and whatnot in our movement, you know, just because we share the same background and shit, you know. Don't work like that, you know. So we are rocking tonight, bro. We got Wayne in the house, bro. I love it, you know. Do some love, folks. Look, folks, we need you to like, share, subscribe this, right? If you got a certain amount of Twitter followers, right, I want you to take time right now and share this video, this link on Twitter. It don't take much time, right? You know, if you can't super chat, right? If you can't do something like that, you know, to help out the program and everything, like, share, subscribe, you know, like the video, right? Share it, right? Share it on Facebook. A lot of you guys got a lot of people on Facebook and whatnot, you know, share it on Instagram, you know, get the message out there. Let's get this world rocking. We complain about people in the sad state of Pan-Africanism and everything, and we're giving you guys a platform where real Pan-African ideas can be grow and cultivated and kept. You know, it's a key word, kept. You know, because like I said, real Black identity is kept and whatnot. You know, we're not going to betray our ancestors. Talk about we're some damn Moors or we're some damn Native Americans and we're all this kind of stupid stuff. We're not. This is where people who know who they are, know who their ancestors are, know who their bloodlines are, and everything like that can get and congregate. And we respect everybody's tribe, everybody's background, everything like that. But this is a place we come and share ideas, and this is a place we come share disagreements. This is a place we share things that we don't agree about, and let's discuss them and have interesting conversation. You know, so this is a place where the real Pan-African movement lives. You know, so we definitely want people to stay on board and everything. And if you can't do anything but like, share, and subscribe, you know, share this video, you know, get it out there. You know, I would say like. you know. If you don't want me to keep singing, right, you know, like the video and share, you know. But tonight, right, you know, and how many, we're like 35 minutes in, you know, the Liberia coup is going to be something very, very interesting I'm going to talk about. So I'll wait till we get more people in here and everything. So we'll start talking about that, you know. About the coups of today, 2000 thing. You got people telling me, Kala, man, you know, I had people telling me, why are you supporting this school? I'm shocked at you. You know, first of all, because I know the difference between the coups that were CIA driven in the 60s, Cold War driven, and the coups that we have right now. Yeah, a coup in Africa have in any African country, right? If the people, the governments don't get its act together. And I'm forced to say this, right? I'm forced to say this, right? I'm grateful to the United States involvement in Liberia. Because if the United States was not involved in Liberia, dealing with these corrupt people, and I love George Weah, but I have never seen so much corruption in my life. You know, his government tried. He tried to be like this, but it was when you have people that are hungry and people are basically like ambitious like that, and it's their turn to eat, and you got 2 and 3 little cute little girlfriends in Monrovia that you got to meet up with and everything like that, and you will do anything. When you have a situation where you have no industrialization and politics is the only way to the good life and everything, this is what happens. And so basically, this Ambassador McCarthy has basically been hard on the Weah government and everything. He put sanctions on several of the Weah administration leaders, former leaders and everything. And a lot of people in Liberian government, if they step foot in the United States, they might even go to jail, you know? And then I had people, right? And I don't know how to say this, right? People actually shocked when I was basically saying, you know something, you know, let me calm down. I was very careful about this, right? Because I don't want people thinking that I'm betraying Liberia and I'm betraying Liberia. You know how much I love Liberia. I love it enough to tell the truth, right? There were people online on TikTok and everybody saying the United States is trying to take over Liberia. The United States don't treat Liberia or respect everything and all this kind of nonsense. No, the United States is basically trying to prevent what happened in 1980 and the Charles Taylor time, the Doe time, and the Cuiabá time to happen again. And then people were saying, they're saying, and I didn't say one single word. I observed and everything like that. And I basically stay out of Liberian discussions like that when it gets that heated. They're saying that the America is treating Liberia like a child and it's basically a micromanage. And they're even saying, well, America has criminals like Donald Trump running. They're trying to compare these outright criminals that are looting the country and everything to Donald Trump with no average. Maybe it's, Donald Trump's on trial or not yet, but Donald Trump's on trial for some civil matter and everything. And then when it comes down to a call, you support Donald Trump? No, I'm saying, look, America is America. Liberia is Liberia. When America's tax dollars go to build clinics and you have people in the rural areas, right, who don't even have a simple fax machine because the money came misappropriated, and the government of Liberia, United States this is U.S. taxpayer dollar. They have a right to step in and say something about it. So therefore, like I said, if it was not for the United States, right, and all the Liberians in America, you know, online, everything like that, who watching their country back home and saying something about it. But the thing is, though, the people that were all about, oh, it's the time for the Native men to rule, George Weah is a son and so on like that, they're online basically trying to hijack the Pan-African cause, saying, yeah, man, the United States don't want a real black. No. It don't work like that. You don't freaking basically use Pan-Africanism to cover up criminal behavior and crime and also and grifting and all this kind of stuff that goes along with why countries fail. So we this is a really this a discussion is going on, in the broader part of the world right now. You have Sierra Leone, right? Sierra Leone just recently had attempted coup, and then some people are saying that a coup is evidently going to happen because they said the government, the last election was rigged, right? There's looting and so the United States has sanctions on all these leaders in Sierra Leone, and you still got people talking about, oh, Sierra Leone, let's go to Sierra Leone, let's get citizenship. Like that. Do you understand what happens if God forbid, all hell breaks out? You know what happens? Like I told you earlier that the first thing they do is they seize the bank accounts, the central bank, and stuff like that, right? The next thing that happens is they basically cut off the airport. No planes can come in, no planes can go out. If you look at Africa, most African countries, right, where the airports are situated and stuff like this, right? If an airport is not working, you ain't getting out of that country. The airport is the only way in and only way out of these countries because it's so isolated. So if you're going over there and you're basically saying, you know something, I want Sierra Leone to be my next country and everything, and a coup d'etat happens, and they say, you know something, I know you guys are here on visas or whatever like that, but what about visa? Will it be extended? No. Then when you're getting ready to go, and they ask you, let's see your visa, and then next thing you know, your visa expired. Next thing you know, you're being detained, and next thing you know, you're being arrested and fined and all stuff like this, right? And the only thing you have to do is this: you have to go to the U.S. Embassy. When I was in Liberia, they always say check in with the U.S. Embassy, and I did. And I talked to the assistant to the ambassador. He said, "This is the case that we know who you are. We know you're in here, right? If there's a coup that happens, because they always are on red alert for a coup, it can happen anytime. We don't see that when we visit the continent, But a lot of these countries are very unstable, And he said when a coup happens or something, we got to evacuate. We know who's in the country, and we know how to get in touch with you, and we can evacuate you out of the country, And too many of us go to the continent. We don't think that's important. We's at home. We're in the motherland and everything. We're in the motherland. Let's do this, So I'm saying let's be smart about this thing, this building and repatriation movement, because like I said, a lot of people have gotten online, right? Their YouTube channels are blown up, and they basically think they know everything. And these are life and death situations you're talking about. When you talk about a foreign country, you talk about war and stuff like that. Don't think you're bulletproof. Don't think that stuff can't happen to you. Something can't happen to you. It happens all the time. It happens all around the world. And so we have to always do our due diligence when we talk about building and going to another foreign country and everything. You have to do it when we travel to different cities in America. What makes you think you don't have to do that when you come to Africa, So this is what we're talking about tonight, folks, the politics of the coup, when are they justified, Now in Sierra Leone, what I'm looking at is some of the ex-soldiers that weren't loyal to the president were locked up and everything. And they went in there and they bum rushed the National Guard, and they released some of the prisoners and criminals back on the streets and everything like that. And there's unrest. Sierra Leone had serious unrest earlier this year, last part of last year. And this is a continuation of that, not saying that the people aren't happy and everything, but when there's military unrest and political unrest in the country, yes, that's really cause for concern. That's very cause for concern. So we have to basically be mindful of that. Back in the days when a coup happened. The reason why the leaders were brutally killed is because the Western powers greenlighted it. Mobutu was greenlighted to execute Patrice Lumumba. And it was, to this day, only thing that relies, I think, his teeth somewhere, so his skull, whatever. And I think the rest of his body was just a brilliant, beautiful man like that was destroyed and everything. Why? Because he went against the interests of the West. And so to keep their hands clean, right, they let Mobutu Sese Seko do it, right? And Mobutu Sese Seko was really hated in Africa for decades. You know what changed it, right? Again, the CIA stepped in and said, you know something, we hear Don King wants to have the biggest fighting boxing match in history. Let's put it in Zaire, Kinshasa, Zaire. So we're going to create this fake coming home to the motherland thing. This is what I'm talking about, folks, right? Your boy, the College Genesis, has been around a long time, right? You can call me Grandpapa Kala, right? When it comes to Black politics in the Pan-African world, okay? And a lot of people, and I'm not bragging on myself like that, are just novices. They don't know what the hell's going on, why certain things happen. First of all, the Ali Foreman fight was supposed to happen in Monrovia, Liberia. But what happened was they didn't have the stadium built in time. Remember something? Liberia was still a country still up and coming. And I'm going to get back to that stadium. You know, why is the name Samuel K. Doe Stadium, you know, when he didn't build it, you know? It's like the Monkey Kingdom, you know? They sit on high and the Jungle Book went out of this kingdom that they didn't build, whatever like that. That's what happened when the people in 1980 took over. This is Samuel K. Doe Stadium. Whatnot. You didn't build a civilization, you know, but they put their name on it. They took it. So, but the CIA and some handlers, right? I don't know if Don King. I don't know like this. I would not believe Don King was involved in any sort of conspiracy, right? Well, Mobutu Sese Seko says he'll host the fight, right? And he'll put up $10 million, right? $10 million, right? Fighters get paid and everything. And they have a new stadium and everything like that, right? And just, so they began getting people from around the world like Stevie Wonder and stuff like this, right? Suddenly everybody forgot about the role he played in destabilizing the Congo and robbing the Congo and the exploitation, everything. All we saw was this, they said, people like, I'm home. Watch some of the video clips of Black people that were in Kinshasa and Zaire. It was Zaire at the time when, I'm home. This is the motherland. This place is beautiful. It's perfect. Perfect. But they were being sold a bill of goods. It was all to make Mobutu look good. You know, Mobutu good. They said, who won the Ali Foreman fight in 1974? Mobutu Sese Seko won. Because after he won, when his image was so thing, he was a leader in the Pan-African world, the Black world, and Zaire is a place and whatnot. You had a lot of Black people from the West settling there, going there and building everything. And people have forgotten about the political prisoners that he has, the death squads he has, the murders he had, and everything like that. And then a great leader called Laurent Kabila was in the eastern part of Congo, right? Drinking and boozing and waiting for his chance to get rid of Mobutu Sese Seko. And the chance came in the 90s, right? When people were basically souring. Mobutu had a nice 30-year run. And so, therefore, all the political politics in Zaire and Congo Zaire was Mobutuism, you know? And if you look at the situation there, it's like what he would do is he would buy people off. If you said this, okay, let's come in here. And next thing you know, you were given a government job. That's just acquired you down. So there was enough money going around because Mobutu was a billionaire. You know, his share of the looting of the Congo made him the richest Black man in the world. And so we could buy people off. And he was just biding his time until inevitable. The only thing that could get rid of him was a coup. Now, I remember at the time when Kabila was advancing, there were people talking about, we're sick and tired of coups. That's all Africa. No, look, sometimes coups are necessary. Until Africa is stabilized and industrialized and has infrastructure and education and all the amenities, it's always going to happen like this. There's always going to be coups. The key is to make sure that these countries are on a path to development where people can see their lives, the average person can see their lives improving. So Kabila was basically beating back Mobutu's troops on the front. And by the time he got within range of Kinshasa, I'll never forget that glorious time period, right? You know, he was basically meeting face to face with Mobutu, right? Trying to negotiate stuff at the last minute with the Belgium and all these other clowns, Israelis and everything. And basically his troops were advancing. And he told him, he said, look, you know, I'm here to negotiate a surrender. And Mobutu was like, oh, well, no. And he said, look, you know, our troops are going to be here within days. As his troops were advancing on Kinshasa, right, Mobutu's family evacuated everything. And right before the troops entered Kinshasa and the presidential palace and all that, right, Mobutu had made it out, and he was stashed in Morocco. And then Laurent Kabila was now the king of the Congo. He renamed the country the Democratic Republic of the Congo instead of Zaire. And he took down a lot of Mobutu's statues and monuments and stuff like that. And that was a real organic revolution from the people of Congo and Zaire to get rid of a tyrant. And then he was assassinated by his own son, Joe Kabila, you know, who was the president of the Congo for a while. And he became a billionaire, letting the Israelis and everybody else exploit the thing. He didn't follow his father's footsteps. He helped assassinate his father. And some saying he wasn't even from the Congo. He was actually Rwandan. You know? So that's what happened with as far as the Kabilas. And so therefore, when he was, what interesting is this, when Joe Kabila was in power in the Congo, right? I did not hear one peep from the so-called Pan-Africanists. This guy was actually part of the facilitation of the looting of the Congo by Western powers that Mobutu Sese Seko was, you know? And nobody was saying anything, right? Just like right now in Equatorial Guinea, the president is a friggin' crook. We're gonna play some videos, Bomani, you know? Equatorial Guinea, you know?
Yeah,
no one
absolutely.
in the so-called Pan-African world is saying anything. That's Equatorial Guinea is another coup d'etat waiting to happen. Cameroon is another coup d'etat waiting to happen. And if Cameroon falls, that's going to be a really bloody coup because the country's trying to split apart. And to a lot of black people, right? You Afro chic, bougie, Pan-Africanists, right? You know, you people are like the worst. You people Africa is not Disneyland. Africa is not a playground. You know, you have to know what you're talking about. These are people that have real lives, real suffering, and real consequences to what we do. Are we lobbying our interest in America, right, to basically go after the people that are doing harm to the continent? Or we just basically will turn the blind eye so long as we can get a so-called passport and we can have a good time for 2 weeks in the motherland and everything. Me personally, when they ask me why I focus on Liberia so much right now, because I've studied the country. I know what Liberia is capable of, and I know how far it can go. Can't say it about a lot of countries, but I do know Liberians. You know, and I do think that's the perfect country for black people from America. And Ghana is another country that's good too. You know, those two countries that to me are probably the best as far as like black people from America selling with all its problems, not perfect, but the things like a coup and violence and stuff like that can inflict at any time. As far as peaceful it is, people say, "Oh, Africa's peaceful." That peace is not easy. You know, at any time, if you want to look at some pictures of the wars in Mozambique and stuff like that, where you got tens of thousands of bodies laying out, and masses of skulls piled up and whatnot. That's the reality. And just because you're from America and it don't mean that you're immune from any of that violence that could take place. That's why it's important that when we go to the continent, that we operate in groups. We operate in groups. We use what's available to us in the meantime. We check in with the U.S. Embassy or whoever else that can give us aid and support or whatever like that. That's just the reality. If you're talking about bringing people to the continent and building and everything. Other than that, you have not done your homework and everything. You have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm gonna find some videos to play, Bomani. Give me 1 second.
All right, perfect. So that'll work. Let me look out for the videos and there's our Liberia flyer, family. So that is our magical dates, and looking forward to show you Liberia along with Morocco. All right, Kala, don't look too hard, man. So, family, that is our incredible schedule I just talked about. And you have Liberia and Morocco right there at the top. And that is setting off for 2024. So that's what me and Kala is working on. And listen to the energy of Kala Genesis as he break it down to you. The history and culture. When you travel with us, you talk about real life roots and culture. That's what we specialize in. Giving you a connection that's fruitful. Make sure that you educate yourself and open your mind to those history and cultural countries, and not just go there and just party your life away. Yes, Kala, where is the video? Waiting for it.
I just sent them to you.
Our Instagram Playboy is also the vice president. This one is interesting. All right, so here's the first one. This one is interesting. So this one is called Instagram Playboy is also the vice president of Equatorial Guinea. Is that a joke?
I wish it was a joke, man.
A joke, man. You pulling my leg, man.
Yo, man, if like I said, any other continent, you would say no, it's a joke, satire, man. Nothing surprises Africa. And you know what gets me is a lot of so-called African Americans are turning into clowns like this, clowns and like anything goes. That's why we gotta clean the slates of these freaking clowns that's running the Pan-African world.
Oh my God. It said meet one of Instagram's most famous playboys. Yo, this is a good one, man.
He's the vice president of a country, man. That's why you would think nobody takes a black racist seriously.
All right, let's family the drum roll.
Miss Playboys. He tours the world, driving fast cars and eating at the world's finest restaurants. He even gets hip-hop stars like Wyclef Jean to play at his lavish parties, posting his exploits on his Instagram account under the name Teddy Ngema. But this isn't your typical Instagram star. He's the vice president of a country. Equatorial Guinea, a small country in West Africa, with a lot of oil. Teodoro Nguema Obiang is the second most powerful man in the country. His father is the world's longest-serving president, Teodoro Obiang Nguema. The Obiang family has amassed a fortune running into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes. But how have they made their money? Equatorial Guinea has some of the most opaque national accounts in the world. Per head, it is the richest country in Africa, yet people live in plastic shack poverty. The most recent figures available from the World Bank suggest that 3/4 of the population live below the poverty line. But the presidential family seem oblivious to the poverty.
Pobreza.
Una cosa, tampoco no hay pobreza.
No hay pobreza.
No.
If the country is so wealthy, where is all the money going?
I sometimes refer to Equatorial Guinea as the North Korea of Africa. There are no freedoms. Today, Equatorial Guinea has the widest gap between GDP per capita or income per capita and Human Development Index, access to healthcare, access to water, access to education.
Tutu Alicante is a lawyer from Equatorial Guinea who is in exile in the United States. He runs an organization that is trying to tackle corruption in his homeland.
It is extremely dangerous for people in my country to speak their mind about anything the government deems political.
He knows firsthand how the massive theft of public money has left little behind to fund public services.
In Equatorial Guinea, going to a hospital is in fact signing your own death sentence. My sister had a complication with a pregnancy and she died at the hospital, bled to death because there was no doctor in sight.
While most of the population live in squalid conditions, Teddy splashes the cash, showing off his wealth on his Instagram account. Often using the hashtag luxury living, he reveals a life of privilege and excess. Court papers say he amassed around $300 million worldwide between 2000 and 2011, despite earning an official government salary of less than $100,000 a year. The Department of Justice alleged that Teddy embezzled millions of dollars from the public purse as cabinet minister.
They discover, for instance, that he had purchased multi-million-dollar private jet, a mansion in Malibu, and then the luxury cars.
The Department of Justice agreed a settlement of around $30 million with Teddy. This year, Teddy has found himself on trial again, this time in a separate case in France, charged with embezzlement and money laundering. After being unsuccessful in claiming diplomatic immunity, he failed to show up to any of the court hearings. Instead, he posted videos on Instagram of himself on safari near Victoria Falls. The French court valued his assets in France at around 100 million euros, including a large property bought for 25 million euros in Paris. The French public prosecutor has asked for a 3-year jail sentence, a 30 million euro fine, and all of Teddy's assets in France to be seized. The vice president denies the charges.
Okay, good.
The future for Equatorial Guinea looks bleak. The president is aging, and his son is preparing to take over.
This is someone that is more concerned about flashing his cash than governing.
The spendthrift strongmen of Equatorial Guinea are not the only presidential family in Africa who are under investigation for embezzling from the public purse. The presidents of Gabon and the Republic of Congo are also being investigated by judges in France. But Teddy's had a busy time of late, posting from the beaches of Brazil to the Great Wall of China. There are plenty of countries where regulators turn a blind eye to despots who want to hide their ill-gotten gains. But their secrets are increasingly being leaked. And it helps if the autocrats themselves do the leaking via Instagram.
Before you play the next videos, right? Is that a coup waiting to happen or what? You know?
All day while he's out there partying.
Check this out. So this is what angers me. This is what angers me, right? And this is what angers me. And I hope a lot of you so-called parents, why would you want some of you guys would come on the show and fight me? I'm ready to rip people's head off tonight, right? You get this pushback, like people talking about Juju Malema. Juju Malema has not addressed this guy in Equatorial Guinea, and so at one time. Dr. Arikana has not addressed him one time. You know why? Because these type of guys know how to send a wire transfer to Julius Malema and all the people that they think are big mouths that could basically show it to them. It takes a white country, France, just like in California, right? The U.S. Justice Department, white man's institutions to bring justice to an African country. This is what we're talking about in 2023. You got freaking people say, "Oh, you're a color, you believe in white savior." Look, the bottom line is this: there's some people that would rather have Africans suffer and be human degradation than ever say, you know, something, we don't have it together or whatnot, you know, and something. Let's do something about it. Our pride, you know, oh yeah, like, we haven't come a long way. We have not come a long way in any in our human development. But I do think that, like I said, the coups in Nigeria and everything like that are a little different, you know, because this is what type of coups that are justified, you know. What are they waiting for? He's a long service president, and actually, I think Paul Biya is actually longer serving, you know. I remember when this guy was put in power, Western oil companies came there, said he was some king of some kingdom, whatever. They gave him full coverage on it. So, and the West also got to basically understand it's not enough to talk about these guys when the Western oil companies that are powerful who put these puppet leaders in power and everything. See, people think all the stuff that we talk about, puppet leaders and everything, is something of the past, something like this. No, this is happening right now, 2003 in real time. You know, we don't have freedom in Africa. There's no black country, no black people on this race that's free. And I had to argue with my brother Nagmeet. He said, "Oh, we have a country, America. America is not our country. You know, we don't have space. You know, where's a thinking black man's government, right? Where we could basically say, I'm tired of seeing what I'm seeing right there in Equatorial Guinea. Let's organize, send our military over there and take these people out." See, white people, they have that power. If they don't like you, whatever like that, they have the means of taking you out, to remove you and everything. Don't tell me I have a country when it burns me that I got corrupt people destroying my ancestral homeland and I have no power to do anything about it. Don't tell me this is my country. You know, that I have a real problem with. Do I live here? Do I make money here? Fine. I'll be here and everything like that. Yeah, you got that on me. But don't tell me this is my country. Don't tell me that flag represents me. America, white America, all its enemies around the world were destroyed, killed, replaced, everything like that. The black man in America, we have no power to have justice on our thing because we choose to live in a country that's not ours. Yeah, I know I gotta be careful. I know it's dangerous. I know Liberia is dangerous. Thank you, Wayne. I understand that, you know. That's what we're dealing with, the reality. I don't like talking about corruption in Liberia and stuff like that, especially online and whatnot, because, you know, I'm really putting my life in danger. That's the reality we're dealing with. When you talk about Africa and stuff like that, that's reality. And a lot of you pinheads don't even understand what's actually going on in the world. There's some people who don't want to change. They want to keep the same old status quo, corruption, everything like that, because all they know. There's some of us that want to see better, that want to see things grow. We want to build things. We want to explore our minds and reach our full human potential. Yeah, I don't know, Wayne. See, that's what I say. I hate talking about this, but I'm like this: the George Manor way of government. Not like George Ware. I love George Manor Ware, right? But you gotta admit, Teo was the finance minister. I met him when I was in Liberia. Seemed like a nice guy, but he don't know what he's talking about, right? Notice how there was no sanctions put on Madam Cooper, Waney, right? She's doing an excellent job at bringing. She just got new excavators, wheat combines, and everything like that. She's revolutionizing. She's carrying out Tolbert's policy of rally time, and they're really building a Liberia's manufacturing thing. Liberia's now making its own chocolates, right? Ghana hasn't got to that point yet. They're making their own chocolates. They're doing things like that. So she's not being sanctioned. And there's several other people in Liberia, the Liberian government, that are not being sanctioned. So let's focus on the people who are not being sanctioned in Liberia, right? In the government that's doing the way it's government, and focus on the ones that are, you know. You know, I don't think the United States government, like I said, I'm no friend of the United States government and everything like that. But people got to stop using this, just like with black people in America, right? They go out there, right? You're out there robbing, stealing, looting, and doing all kinds of shit right there. You get pulled over by police, you get knocked upside your head and dragged over there. Right away, you talk about police brutality. I don't believe in that. You know, I take it by a case-by-case basis. What the hell? What did he say? When the officer came down and whatnot, I was just minding my business and whatnot, you know, and they locked me up. You fail to say that you had so many grams of crack on you. You failed to say that you were running for the police and you shot the police. You failed to say you scaled the wall and whatnot, you know, and grabbed the old lady and took her as hostage and whatnot, you know. You failed to say all that. But all we hear is, yeah, man, all we see is a part where the police is like, boop, 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 boop. And we're like, man, the police officer, man, just like, same thing, man. Black people, we don't want no accountability. You know, we can't just go by what we see, the bang, ba-bing, ba-bing, ba-bang, ba-bing, ba-bing, ba-bing. You know, we can't see that part. We got to see the part where what led up to that. What led up to these sanctions in Liberia? You know? Yeah, well, America's really right now. The reality is right now is all we have. You know, so somewhere along the line you have to deal with that stuff because the people that should be talking about Pan-Africanism and stuff like that, you know, we don't have real serious people at the top. You know, we just have internet personalities talk about Pan-Africanism and everything like that, and tell let's go to the motherland and whatnot. No, we're not ready for that yet. You know, we have to organize here, we have to organize over there. And we have to know how to hold people accountable. And that's the one thing that we have. I'm thankful for the governments of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali and everything like that. Because evidently, when it gets to that point where you have absolutely nothing to lose, Black people in America's problem is they think they have something to lose by confronting the people in our community that's fucking up. You know, we don't want to talk about the gang culture. We don't want to talk about the crime, the violence, the whole culture and everything like that, you know. We don't want to talk about that, you know, because why? Because these celebrities are making money. They're popular and everything like that, you know. And then when somebody white comes down and says that, oh, yeah, we need to do something like that. We need to do something like that. We all like, well, that's racism and whatnot. Why are we talking? No, it's like this. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong. You know, we don't like that in our culture. We don't like to be criticized. We don't like something like that, you know. You're fine, guys. Liberia's not there. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. My sister Wayne. I would tell you, Bomani, I said Wayne looks like Wayne is deep from what's happening. Just like deep from what's happening. You know? Like, ooh, Raj. I always told her that. She was like deep from what's happening. You know? Now, you want to play other video, Bomani? I think we got to play all these. We got to play all these just to get the gist of what we're discussing tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
worst in the world. He's vicious, he's venal, and he's robbing his country blind. His country is an African hellhole called Equatorial Guinea, and no one would have ever heard or cared about it if they hadn't discovered vast oil deposits just offshore. So much oil, in fact, that at the rate this tiny country is growing, in 10 years, it could be the richest in the world. And the trouble is, most of the oil money is being pumped directly into the president's pocket. He's living like a king while his people starve. The two-bob tin pot tyrant who runs this tiny African backwater gets around with an entourage worthy of a superpower. And he is just about the most horrible despot in the world today. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbisogo. His people are amongst the poorest on earth, and he's amongst the richest.
This is one bad place. It's had one of the most appalling human rights records, probably in the world. Regular torture, regular extrajudicial killings. Until people found oil, nobody was really talking about Equatorial Guinea.
The oil here is attractive because it's non-Arab, non-OPEC, non-Muslim, and the rigs are well out of reach of the pesky natives. The main island of this tiny nation is in what detractors call the armpit of Africa. A small Australian company, Rock Oil, is drilling here, but it's mostly American giants, particularly ExxonMobil. To begin with, they gave Equatorial Guinea, the oil's owners, just 12% of the oil revenues. The norm is more like 60%. According to Alex Vines, an African specialist with the Royal Institute of International Affairs.
Initially, the oil companies gave Equatorial Guinea a really bad deal.
They took advantage of him.
Certainly to start with. The government of Equatorial Guinea had not a clue what it was dealing with at the time.
The main square in the capital is a quaint throwback to Spanish colonial times. Elsewhere, the city is mostly a slum, with little running water and essentially no sewerage. The government stopped us filming here, but we managed these shots from our hotel window. Whilst the oil fires flicker on the horizon at night, students, with no electricity at home, study under the streetlights that illuminate the drive to the presidential palace.
It's a very bad, evil government. And Exxon, I think, to a shame, is in bed with them.
Frank Ruddy is doubly qualified. He was once the American ambassador to Equatorial Guinea and once a lawyer for Exxon.
The shameful part is that you have a great company like Exxon Mobil, which is tied in with this very corrupt government. The president treats the treasury as his own patrimony. And so to do business with somebody like that and to basically literally feed his coffers, I think it's shameful.
The president and his family are frequently overseas. First son, Teodoro Jr., is partial to Paris and its finest hotels. Incredibly, he once allowed French television to tag along on a shopping spree. But a Bentley can be hard work in Paris traffic.
C'est Paris. Pour le soir, vous avez dit?
Pour le soir, si vous avez des cocktails, des gens.
A fashion house closed its doors to give Junior exclusive access to the merchandise. Whilst their Paris ambassador did his job. Teodoro bought 30 suits that day, browsed for a new watch, and then took the Lamborghini down the Champs-Élysées to get some CDs. Would it be churlish to suggest that maybe It's excesses like this that cause so little to be spent in the slums back home.
The actual expenditure on health and education has significantly declined in the last 5 years. And think of it, the last 5 years are when the oil wealth has really been kicking in. So although the country's getting richer, actually the people are getting poorer. The money is going elsewhere. It's not going to the benefit of the people.
The white man's hotel in the capital has one of the nation's 2 swimming pools. Neither contains water. Pity really, because here we found Eric Musambani, Eric the Eel. Remember him? The slowest swimmer at the Sydney Olympics and now training for Athens. Well, how do you do training if the pools haven't got water?
Okay, I was in South Africa and Ghana. That way I have been training. But now I have to move to Spain to train. Here I can't do it.
At the same hotel, we ran into some of ExxonMobil's men relaxing after a stint on the rigs. Perhaps being well-oiled blurs the sight of the squalor that's all around. This country's dirt poor. Where's all the money going?
We don't control where the money goes. We're just out here to do a job.
I was having dinner at a fish restaurant an hour or so after talking to those rig workers when, out of the blue, the Equatorial Guinean Information Minister shows up and says, "Get out of the country. Your visa has been revoked." And he added for good measure, "If you go quietly, then nobody will be thrown into jail." So I think understandably we then quietly made our way here to Madrid in Spain. How many times have you been to jail?
4 times.
Have you been to jail?
Several times.
The rat-infested Black Beach jail back in the capital is where President Obiang locks up his opponents. When he seized power from his uncle 25 years ago, he kept him here for a couple of days and then had him executed. No wonder many in opposition to Obiang today have fled here, Madrid, Spain, the former colonial power.
The way Obiang is taking all the country, including natural resources, he genuinely believes that this country belongs to him.
In your democracy, sir, in the late 90s...
The president also believes he's sharing those resources. At least that's what he told Bob Simon from CBS 60 Minutes in an interview last year.
Ha sido para nosotros como el maná.
The oil has been for us like manna that the Jews ate in the desert. We have to follow the rules to make sure the manna reaches all the people in Equatorial Guinea.
The oil companies make sure the manna reaches at least as far as him. In America, it's red carpet treatment for the president all the way.
And I remember the president has a very fine collection of Scotch whiskey.
Obiang was even a guest at this function when Big Oil paraded its biggest and most powerful friend.
The President of the United States, George Bush. Do you have any qualms about doing business there?
It's a matter of you have to.
Mr. Stephen Hayes runs America's Corporate Council on Africa. The council lobbies for American oil.
I mean, is there any depth to which you will not sink? I mean, would you do business with this man, Obiang, no matter how corrupt he is?
I think that at some point, again, that's a good question. Is there any level at which any oil company in the world wouldn't do business with where there's that much oil? I don't know. Your position is that we shouldn't be taking oil from Equatorial Guinea.
No, sir. No.
It is that position.
Yeah, Carl, I want to pause at that point right there. That's and then continue. That's about halfway.
Yeah, well, see how the media and everything covers that up, right? You know, and the only thing that's really gonna bring this to the end is the so-called black media, but we don't do anything. I have yet to hear Phil Scott talk about this. You know, he has the African Diaspora
African Disaster Channel. But before you even that, remember the man's main point where he's saying the guy was questioning him about why do you do business with a corrupt government? And they're basically saying that they have limited choice because they have what we need basically, and we just gotta work with them.
Right. That's the reality of the 1-2 punch. On one hand, the West does business with them. They create these situations, and then they basically say they beat them up for this. They know what they're doing,
Like break your legs and then call you a cripple.
Call you a cripple. You can't walk. Here's this movie. They break kung fu movie. They break the person's leg. Now walk. Now do that. They require you to do twice the work or work faster with 2 broken legs. But
we got a famous comment from Wayne, a special one for you.
Said, look at the officials of Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, Gabon, Central Republic, Chad. The less Chad list corrupts in Liberia. No, why I'm saying it. Yeah, you're right about that. But the thing is, I think Wayne, right? I think the United States, right? When you look at what's his name, Andrew McCarthy, the ambassador, right? He basically at that 200-year mark of Liberia, he said Liberia is something special. He talked about the history of Liberia that came out of nowhere and was able to build itself to a republic. It wasn't handed a country like these other countries were. So basically what I'm saying is the world has a higher expectation for Liberians in Liberia. You guys don't know the position y'all have in the Black world, okay? You guys Liberia was never colonized, okay? White people don't own land. You don't have the situation in Zimbabwe where they lost their land forever. The white people are taking the land back and stuff like that. You don't have those things in the hinterland. You don't have white farmers, Afrikaners, Liberianers out there farming, exploiting the people. You don't have that. You have a close relationship with the United States and American institutions. So therefore, the expectations for Liberia is somewhat higher than you see in other African countries. What the West tries to do, let's say, Africa, another coup. 1980, we haven't talked about that yet, right? 1980 coup or not, right? Most people who knew Liberia was absolutely, the world was shocked of that 1980 coup. How could this happen in Liberia? But over time, right, Liberia became the face of a coups. It became the face of civil wars. The most stable country in Africa, throughout African history, that developed on its own when it became the face of coups and wars and refugee situations. Liberia, when its early history, had the least amount of people living overseas, than any other African country. So therefore, yes, they're going to be harder on Liberia, than they are on other countries because there's so much to expect. That's why it's important. Now, as far as like George Weah, I have nothing against George Weah. I think he's a beautiful man. Let me tell you a story, and let me tell you why. Years ago when he lost the second time, right? And one of my guys, you remember him, Wayne, the guy, I forgot his name. He used to have this Discussing Liberia Facebook group. Remember Discussing Liberia Facebook group? And he basically told me a story, right, about him in the refugee camp in Ghana. And he told me a story that to this day brings me to tears, right? He said, at that time, us indigenous Liberians, we felt so down on ourselves, particularly people from the Kron and the Coup tribe. He said, we felt so down on ourselves. Our country was so this, and we were being treated, we're grateful to the Ghanaians for taking us in a refugee camp. My wife, Isabella, was in that refugee camp, she went there, I think in 06. It wasn't 06. No, wait a minute. It was, 96. 96. She was 10 years old. It was 96, 10 years old, And she basically, so therefore, they said the young Liberians would gather around the radio, right? And heard about this man that was a massive soccer player from the Republic of Liberia. His name was George Weah. And these young guys would sit around the thing and saying, and they would cheer, but then one of their own had made it to the big time. And they were basically saying, that's our hero. that's the guy that, and I do believe George Weah deserved a chance to be president of Liberia, just for that alone. He inspired the Liberians, man. They called him Ambassador Weah and everything like that, you know, and they know his shortcomings. They know he didn't know a lot or not, but they loved him because they believed he was one of them. He was one of the people, you know, and he made them proud to be Liberians. He made them proud to be where they were from and everything like that. And we can't dismiss that, you know. So I do believe George Weah has a role to play in Liberia's history, you know, everything like that. The government's not sanctioning George Weah, you know. He made mistakes, but he did a lot. You know, he brought Madam Cooper into Liberia's and the agriculture. He did a lot. You know, I see a lot of development going on the highway and stuff like that. They did the best they could, you know, and that's true. He did not get the support that Ellen did, you know. He didn't get the support Ellen did. He did not have the people around him that Ellen had. Ellen had the international community behind her, you know, and, you know, and so we have to, you know, chance. But I do think 6 years was enough. You know, 6 years was enough. I think Liberia, okay, the point was made, okay? The native guy, Liberian, the man for the people were rose to the thing, and I can't take that away from him. He was once the president of this great republic, you know, so we can't take that from him, you know. But now it's time to put the coup of 1980, the tribalism, all that stuff behind, and focus on the future. And there's absolutely no future in the same old, same old. And that's why I think the United States government is basically stepping in, because unfortunately, when it comes to African countries and everything, it seems like we just don't know how to govern ourselves. Even Ellen, right? She comes to power, right? And she basically facilitated the disposal of Charles Taylor. And she basically was talking about the International Criminal Court. Now, why doesn't Liberia have courts in this thing to deal with its own justice system? Why do we have to outsource? Why do white countries have to do it? Because we not built the sort of thing where we where our ambitions and our desires and everything are tempered, right, or arrested. Okay. So in other words, basically what I mean by arrested is, okay, when you basically have a government, right, that government basically has the habeas corpus, the arresting power, and to promote domestic tranquility and all these things that will basically build a society for all, you know? Yeah, Collins, yeah, that's his name, yeah, his name is Collins, yeah, Collins, yeah. He was a good brother. When he told me that story, man, he said, Colin, let me tell you a story. And I don't think he was a friend of George Weah, but he said when that refugee camp, when they would sit by the radio and hear George Weah's name, and these young Liberian guys were cheering and crying, and I said, bro, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And ever since then, that was years ago, it's like a decade ago, I became a fan of George Weah. I love President George Weah. But I think 6 years and what Liberia's position in the world is, Liberia is probably really the only chance Black people have. It's probably the last hope we have. Because if we can get Liberia right, then the Black race and everybody else will connect globally, I like how he basically said, I lost, congratulations, when I stepped down. No shenanigans or nothing. That's revolutionary in Africa itself. So like I said, I would thank all the Liberians in America and all the people, the friends of Liberia, whoever race you come from, that want to see this public vote state. I do believe Liberia has a future.
There you go. Yeah. Excellent. That's good exchange of power for from 6 years. So let's get back to the 44-year president. I don't know if he's gonna make it a 45, but since 1979 he's been in office. Like literally 2 years after I was born.
Right, yeah. Think about that, man.
I was born in 77. He's been the president of a country since 1979. Unbelievable. But nevertheless, man, let's get back to it. This is always an interesting story. I was actually trying to find a video on this, and you found the perfect video. So yes, family, and also the link is live, family, for those who want to join us and connect with us. Yeah.
I want Wayne and Mufasa to call in. You know, don't be lazy to call in. I want Wayne and Mufasa to call in. You join the panel.
All right, well, perfect. We'll see that. Absolutely. So I'm gonna repost the link, and
because there's no other choice.
Well, let me tell you my position. So my position is there should be some morality in this, and there should be a level below which you won't sink. And you've sunk to unbelievable depths in dealing with such a corrupt and cruel dictator as Obiang.
Well, I don't agree with it.
What, the cruel bit or the corrupt bit?
No, I don't. I don't agree that American companies are not following the Fair Trade Practices Act.
It turns out President Obiang does lots and lots of business in Washington, oil business and private business.
The ritzy part of the most important city in the world, Washington, is, well, very ritzy. And when it comes to a good address, there are a few better places than here, DuPont Circle. On this circle, there's one particularly interesting building, the DuPont Circle branch of Riggs Bank. Never heard of it? Well, if you're a member of the Saudi royal family, you would have, because many of them do their private banking here, as does President Obiang.
Obiang controls in excess of 60 accounts at this bank, including the one where oil companies deposit royalty payments. In some accounts, the balances run to hundreds of millions of dollars. In such circumstances, I guess it's understandable that the president would equip himself with a mansion like this just outside Washington. But it's a silly president who forgets to lock the front gate.
Hello. Good morning. Is President Obiang in, please? Hello, how do you do?
A caretaker eventually emerged from a garage, so I got a glimpse of the presidential fleet. And since the president was not in when I dropped by, the same caretaker very kindly arranged for me to speak with a government representative on the phone.
Who is this? Your friend?
Yeah.
What's your friend's name? Oh, you're the ambassador. Oh, I see. You're the president's cousin. Oh, goodness gracious me. Well, Mr. Ambassador, tell me, how much money has the president got in his Riggs bank account at the moment?
The FBI is trying to trace cash movements in and out of that account.
So, Mr. Ambassador, are you still there?
And whether it's the oil companies making the in-cash payments.
Bye-bye.
President Obiang and his family must enjoy the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Otherwise, why would he have another mansion just down the road? And across the continent, another. Los Angeles' luxurious Beverly Hills area is home for Teodoro Jr. Remember him? He's the son who likes the fast cars and fancy suits. Swimming pools, movie stars, and an African prince.
Where is the owner of the property?
This is African prince.
An African prince?
Yeah.
Back home in Equatorial Guinea's slums, last year, the economy grew a massive 60%. It is the fastest growing economy on earth. Near to none of the country's 500,000 people see a brass razoo from this.
Why don't you do the right thing? Get out of Equatorial Guinea, turn your back on this corrupt dictator.
Let's assume that every oil company, U.S. oil company, gets out. How fast do you think it would be before the French and other international oil companies are in there? A second. So what really changes in Equatorial Guinea?
See, that's it. It is such a tiny place. It should be another Kuwait.
If everyone did the right thing, yes. And the fact is that almost no one is doing exactly the right thing.
By associating with this murderous criminal tyrant, we in the West are party to a disgrace and contributing to a disaster in the making.
Hello, I'm Tom Steinfort. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips.
Yeah, once 60 Minutes gets on your ass, man, you know, it's over.
Yes, Kala, that is that, man. The 44-year-old dictator, the 44-year dictatorship continues, just
Yeah.
like the journey of a lifetime.
I want to know from, like, Wayne's getting ready to call in, Mufasa call in, you know what I'm saying? Maybe because he's younger and he ain't an old man like me, I see things differently, you know? You know, I like really say, when I was younger, right? I was younger. I used to be like, yeah, man, you know, when I was a young kid, you know, when I was younger, even though I didn't get involved with like the streets that my friends did and whatever like that, you know, I would never hold them accountable for all the stupid shit they did, you know? I was like, yeah, the white man, I was like, wait a minute here. I'm doing all the right stuff and whatnot, you know, and I'm including them in our struggle. Like Bomani Tyehimba, you know, your years are out there. You weren't in the streets. You were doing your thing, you know, getting your studies on, right? You know, but our movements are all been about everybody's oppressed. That's why we're selling drugs. That's why we're gangbanging. Why we're doing all this stupid stuff like this. And so we basically have that same sort of mentality when it comes to our leaders, right? It's not just Africa; it's here in America too. We have these now. These black women now who are running for mayor, city girls, getting away with something. I'm not attacking black women. No, Wayne, don't come for me. You know, not attacking black women. You know, but we don't say anything when you look at the cities we run in America. We run them to the ground and everything, and all people have to do is play the so-called race card, like, oh yeah, well the Republicans is, you know, like that. And so therefore, if you say something, you're a traitor to the race, and blah 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 blah. You know, and you know, it's just a sad situation that nobody talks about this. You can't keep talking about. You can't be serious about bettering people. Now, if our whole thing is just always talk about white people, blah blah blah, that's fine, right? But don't say that you're actually serious about building something or improving people's lives when we don't take a personal accountability for what we are. We don't look ourselves in the mirror and say, what's going on with us and everything, you know? Yeah, what's this ADOS, FBA, whatever, non-FBAs? Yeah, you guys were just, there is no damn FBA, ADOS. Black people are black people. We're corrupt and we're silly. We're all over the world, you know? We're like the globe's children, you know? That's whether you're FBA, ADOS, you know, whether you're African, you're Caribbean and whatnot, we're the world's children. You know, we think like children. You know, we think like we're always going to be forever in our youth. We don't grow up. We don't mature. You know, and now that people don't mature, or just mature, society's mature. And I said earlier in the start of the show, I'm proud of what I'm seeing in Niger and Guinea and all these other people that had their military coups, but it was bloodless. And it was basically the rule of law. You know, even attempted coups they put down. You don't see nobody being rounded up and executed and everything like that. They're probably in prison, probably going to get something and everything like that. You know, but I do think there's this part of Africa and the black race that wants to mature. We have to let that happen, folks. You know, let's stop defending people who are doing wrong. Let them take accountability for what they did, you know, what they did. You know, ADOS FBA, stop. You know, ADOS stop. Black people are corrupt. Well, now you can't tell me. You tell me Brandon Johnson, you proud of Brandon Johnson? Go live in Chicago right now. You know, Eric Adams, an idiot in New York. You like that? You know, he's an ADOS FBA. You proud of that? Eric Adams is a freaking buffoon, an outright clown. You know, Brandon Johnson, I don't know where this guy came from, you know. This guy is an absolute weirdo, a moron. You proud of that? You know, it's so bad. Sheila Jackson Lee lost her. Oh, Bomani, this is funny. This is funny. Bomani, you gotta put your camera up here because I know you're gonna laugh. I want to see your face when you laugh at this shit. Bomani, put your camera on. Put your camera on. Yo, they had a runoff election in Houston, right? And Sheila Jackson Lee, nobody showed up, right? She lost, right, by a landslide, right? By some really unknown white delegate, right? The thing is, though, they said this side to say now that she lost because they had to run off on Saturday, you know, and they knew black people weren't going to show up to the polls, you know, everybody's out shopping, you know, so they held the runoff on a Saturday, you know, and that's what did it. They said, man, less than like what 20% of the people you showed up, you know, and she lost by a landslide. You know,
wow, that's amazing. I'm sure that was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it was. They're like, yo, man, you know, she's 73, did nothing for Houston. You know, her district that she represented, the 5th Ward, whatever like that, is a hell on earth, you know. But we elect these people for life terms, and all you do is send their kids and their children to the best schools, and they're eating lunch with these congressmen and whatnot, talking about the orange man, talking about Trump, talking about the Republicans. When I saw her holding hands with Hillary Clinton, you know, like she's going out there with Hillary Clinton, like when Hillary was running, she was like, oh, and then she prayed over Joe Biden, you know, like a mammy. At this one State of the Union, she just put her hands on Joe Biden, start praying for him and whatnot, you know, all this mammy coon nonsense and everything, you know. But that's what ADOS FBA is all right about, you know. ADOS FBA and whatnot, you know, that's you. Y'all gotta take that L. Where are these so-called ADOS FBA politicians that he keep talking about, you know? Oh, the non-FBA people or not. So show me the good ADOS FBA politician. Show me the good African-American politicians that get anything done, that could get elected and get anything done. They don't exist. So let's not point the finger just at Africa and whatnot, you know, because we got the same thing that happened right here in the United States. You know, people say that, say, Colin, man, Colin hates African Americans. No, I don't. I love African Americans. Some of the best people I know are African Americans, you know, but Negroes are Negroes, you know. And I have a PhD in Negroology, you know. I know the Negro, you know. The Negro will lie, he will buck dance. He'll do anything to avoid any sort of responsibility. Oh no, Tay Brown, show us African political powerhouses. Well, show us the so-called ADOS FBA political powerhouses, you know? Keith Barker says, Lyndon is requesting, he said, Lyndon, that's Biden. He must have been Biden. $200 billion for Ukraine. ADOS. Look, the bottom line is if I believe, Wayne, what's going on, our sister? There she is. Yes, she is. She's a queen of Liberia.
Greens, Wayne. Welcome to the call. And I'm not sure what Carla wanted to ask you, but this is the topic. A close look at African coup d'etat. Are they justified?
How do well, most of the times they are.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times, yeah. And if you look at past history, let me think of one coup in particular. Most of the times I think they are justified. And sometimes I just think it's just a fight for power. They use the people on the ground. They know what the people want. They know what the people need, and they use that as a way to justify their coup d'etat. But most of the times, the leaders just want power. Most of the times, African leaders are just jealous. Like, you know, they got that type of plantation mindset. If he can become president, I'll become president. Who is he? It's not like they really care for the people. Just being honest. I've been around African people all my life. I know them very well. They don't care. Most of them don't care. Man, 20 years ago, I used to be, me and my friend, we had a crew. We call ourselves the Dipset. The Dipset crew. Why? Because we only dated guys who were diplomats. I went to all the secret meetings. All of them. They will talk everything in front of us. All of them are full of shit. Let me tell you that. They're full of shit. Yeah, all of them are pretenders. All of them. They know what the people want on the ground. They do their, oh yeah. Yeah, we want universal health care. We want this, we want that. And then once they get power, it's the same old bullshit. Same old bullshit. If I want, I could even write a book. I choose not to.
Why don't you write the book? We need more authors.
If I write a book, let me be honest, I'm gonna need help from one of my friends because she's very good with the names. For me, we had our crew, but I just never used to go too much deep into it because I don't know of my Catholic school upbringing. I used to be
I mean, the problem is people like you are hiding stuff, and I have an idea because Liberians been telling me this for years, but nobody ever comes up with this with the a narrative.
Liberians weren't even on my radar back in the day. I was too class for Liberian people. Liberian people, they don't know good things. I'm telling you, I was hanging out with Francophone Africans, Portuguese Africans. One of the guys I used to be like following me and my friend at the school campus. He even used to, we didn't have to do anything with him. He would give us his Range Rover to drive. Can you imagine? That's why you always used to be like, oh, Angola this, Angola that. I'm like, oh, Angola ain't shit. Angola ain't shit. I used to go to all the diplomatic parties, all of it.
And you said Angola?
Yes.
Well, now the new president, I get it. Back then, the new president is serious, though. You know, the new president.
Yeah, I don't know anything about a new president. This is I'm talking about 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
20 years ago, please.
Yeah.
Liberian Sierra Leone, they're too local, man. They were too local for me. Liberian Sierra Leone, they're just like American men. They wanna if they want to splurge on you, they want something in return. Francophone Africans, they just want you on their shoulder. That's it, and you hang out with them. That's all. And even for that, they would take you on trips. Liberian Sierra Leone.
I saw some of your pictures back in the days. You're a little cutie back in the day. You still are, but
honestly, if I can have like most of my pictures, is that in 2004, my mom's house burned down.
Oh wow!
So I don't have and that was before the digital era. So if I have some of the pictures, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. You'll be in total
I see some of your pictures from you went to Howard, right? You went to Howard?
Yeah, for some time.
Yeah, you went to Howard. Did you pledge sorority?
Man, I was on a different level, I tell you. Like, even part of the time I didn't finish school, I left school because I felt like I was doing more things on my own. I felt like I had so much power. And honestly, I did. I used to work at Nordstrom. I was a personal shopper at Nordstrom. Man, easiest place. Every African diplomat that would come into Nordstrom at least once, I could say maybe 4 or 5, maybe 1 to 4 times a week, they would ask for my number. Simple. Easy. And I would be the personal shopper. And they'll be using the tax ID, all the free tax breaks because they don't pay taxes, diplomats. Using all the country money to go shopping. Take me and my friends shopping. I had $700 sunglasses, Christian Dior sunglasses when I was 19. My mom used to be like, where you getting all these things from? I said, oh, mommy, they had a sale at work. And she's like, huh?
That's something else. But like we was talking about George Manawea and Ellen,
George Manawea government. He to be honest, he's not a forceful guy. For me, if I had that position, I'll be very forceful.
Right.
He's not a forceful guy, so it was easy for anybody to do anything in his government. Anybody can do anything. And as you can see, he's not a corrupt official. If he was, he got 50% of the votes or 49-point-something% of the votes. Why did this man take the country? I would have took it. Period. Why are we doing this?
You have to. He almost got reelected. So in other words, basically,
any other African president was just taking the control. I would have. For what?
Check us out. Now, when I was there in 2021, right? I was basically saying like this. Oh, I was hearing all these stories by Ellen people. Oh, George Weah's going to, and I was actually shocked at how smooth the country worked. You know, the airport to everything, the police, everything like that. That was orderly. And I was saying to myself, my God, I said, for what little Liberians had, they're making this country work.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's why I tell you sometimes you're harder on Liberians than anybody, you know. And I said, you're harder on Liberians, you know, than anybody, you know. And I'm saying to myself, I was actually shocked how well run the country works. Very little, because I know Black people in America, and we had that little bit. This place would be in chaos, you know. You know, we'd be in chaos, you know. So Liberians, all the Liberians told me is all we want is jobs, you know. And unfortunately, where I didn't know how to articulate, you know, to the world how to sell his country, and that's why we started with the tourism thing, you know.
When he tried to articulate from the beginning, you see people making fun of him. They're correcting his English.
Yeah.
Liberians never gave him a chance from the beginning. It's out of jealousy. Even before he became president, Liberians are very jealous people. Liberians have something that came from slavery, and it's plantation mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we have.
Yeah. Same thing over here.
Yeah.
It's, envy and jealousy, you know, envy and jealousy.
It sucks. It's really bad because George Weah is more respected outside of Liberia and Ivory Coast and any other African country, and Ethiopia and Burkina Faso. They respect him so much, but Liberians can't respect him. It's just jealousy and hate.
I think a lot of people basically put too much expectations on him, you know.
How much can one person do? Let me be honest with you. The money that George Weah is supposed to have when he first entered presidential power is not the money that he had, because he put so much money into Liberia and got nothing out of it. Liberian people use him from the beginning.
Yeah.
Liberian people use him from the beginning, and he's a free caring person. He's that type of person. You come to him with a problem, he will help you.
My uncle told me he worked with Weah at the first couple of years, right? You know, Uncle Charlie. He told me, he says, guy, you can sit down and talk to him. You can shoot with him. He's real down to earth, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get that from Ellen, right? Because Ellen, there was a lot of Black people in America tried to reach out to Ellen, and she ignored it, you know. And George Weah will sit down and talk to you. He would sit down and talk to you and say, you know, that he may not understand what you're trying to do.
No,
he met with John.
He likes people. When I went to Sino County, I was part of his presidential convoy. And let me be honest with you, I got some videos. Most of the tour, he was focused on me and my children's father at the time. We were together. He wanted to reach out to us and bring us along. But as a people that he's among, that was just kind of like, oh, do you have past this? Do you have this and that? They would try to block it. So my uncle said, don't worry, tomorrow I'll set up a meeting. It just so happened I was sick, so I had no choice but to leave. I tried my best, but that Sino County role, it made me so sick, because the week prior I was in Sierra Leone, and Sierra Leone I had food poisoning from oysters that I ate.
Wow.
Yeah. So
where'd you get them from?
That's the thing. I would never do it again.
No, but where'd you get the oysters from?
That's why I said I'll never do it again. I got it from the Beach Boys, and I ate it.
Oh yeah.
I'll never do that again. And
I bought fish off the side of the road, and it was the best fish I ever had in my life. You know something. The whole time I was in Liberia, I didn't cough. I was not sick one time when I was there. You know.
Absolutely, brother. And if both of you can hold, let me at least add Mufasa in that way. He knows he's in. Mufasa, you're also in the call.
Hey, what's going on, Bomani? What's up, Colin?
Yeah, you gotta mute Wayne, brother.
Hey, Mufasa.
Hey, what's going
on?
No,
she don't have to be muted. I just want to make sure that let her know that someone else is on. But
yeah, no. When I called in, I had a question. I wanted to know what that Equatorial Guinea president did to provoke the French to attack him, or the West to attack him with this propaganda. You on mute, Kyla.
This has been going on for a long time, right? and it's not even the French. It's different French agencies, American agencies, the U.S. Justice Department, Orange County, California. One of the president's sons, right, had like 6 Lamborghinis, mansions, everything like that. That he couldn't account for the money, right? And America has this law on the books, right, that says if you're a U.S. citizen or you're doing anything corrupt or not, they can seize your property if they have just cause to do that, you know? Now, the thing is, though, like people was asking, the oil companies, right, Exxon, you know, they're fueling this as a business. They're covered. There's I think personally, in my personal opinion, right, Equatorial Guinea is another coup waiting to happen, right? When a coup happens and everything like that, that really drains international resources, right? Resources. We have a refugee crisis. You have all stuff like this. Nobody wants that. So they'll basically keep this person in power, hoping that they'll eventually do the right thing by these exposés. But it's evident that this president, he just got reelected again, you know, by a landslide of 99%, you know, because no one dares to vote against him, you know, and he's like, well, you know, we know the oil companies are backing me up, and I'm gonna keep doing what we're doing. So the West, right, cannot go around talking about human rights. How can you basically not say something about Paul Kagame, right? Which the West is attacking Paul Kagame. Let's talk about that for a second. They're attacking Paul Kagame. He's going for a 3rd term, whatever like that. He's a dictator, blah, 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 blah. But, and not say anything about that. You see what I'm saying? So the West has to has this credibility. As more and more people on social media saying, well, that doesn't sound right. Why are you attacking Paul Kagame? Why are you attacking this person, right? And this person left alone. So they have to respond to situations like this. Yeah, does that make any sense?
No, it makes sense what you're saying, but I just don't buy it. I feel like now when I was listening to the French report, or I was listening to the portion of the report where they was talking about money laundering that the vice president was doing in France, that's what I thought it was. Because it's one thing, you know, to do the corruption and for them to steal in their own country. But when you get these guys probably to make more money or whatever other ties they might have, when they start moving all those millions and billions and, you know, then they start screwing with stuff in these countries, you know, and I realized that I was looking up, the United States has a law in the books where I forget, it's the something Corruptions Act. And if you read, I've read a few of I've read the paperwork on some of these things, and I always wonder, why do they give a damn if these big corporations go to these countries and, you know, do corrupt business with these African nations and all these other nations? Why do they care?
That's a conundrum.
No, I'm gonna tell you why they have to care, because that illegal money starts flowing into the American economy at too large of a clip. Then it becomes a problem. You see what I'm saying? So when he's spending multi-millions in France, dealing with who knows who he's dealing with, and they're saying he's money laundering. That's probably when they're like, okay, wait a minute, we got to make sure we keep a handle on this. But I was wondering if maybe you knew something he was doing, because I mean, I don't see what does it have to do with them that he's screwing over his people in Equatorial Guinea? Because the
United States goes around the world talking about how they rescuing people, how they the force.
Yeah, but they've been doing that. They've been doing that for decades.
Yeah, but it works. It works. That American propaganda machine works in the minds of most people in the world.
No, it's fine. But what I'm saying is they can continue to have the contradiction of doing business with the Saudis, doing the business with Equatorial Guinea. They can do that, and they don't have to call it out. They can just continue to, you know, do business as usual. They don't have to call these guys out.
The United States become the United States, like what happened in Chile with Pinochet and all that. United States washed its hands clean of the Pinochet situation. You know, United States doesn't like to see. United States engineered the coup in Iran. You remember that coup? You know, I think it was 57. And the thing
I mean,
is,
you're talking about the one where they put the Shah in, right? Not
yeah, they
not
put the Shah in.
Yeah,
And the thing is, here's the thing: the United States, basically, most people in America, and they did this in Central America with Chiquita Banana Company and all the Dole, what they call really banana republics, you know. But the United States propaganda is we're down there to help the poor, something like this. But the truth is, they got business interests in these countries that got to come first, you know, and they have a well-grown propaganda machine because as long as people believe America is this just country and everything like that, America could do what it wants, you know. Right now, you look at Ukraine, right? Ukraine is going to fall, right? But Joe Biden wants to bankrupt America for generations, give him $200 billion just to prove a point that the United States is going to come to the side of the Ukrainians and all this kind of foolishness and nonsense and everything. When it was Ukraine that provoked Russia in this conflict, you know, it was agreement that Ukraine would not join NATO because NATO would be on the doorsteps of Russia, you know. So when they basically Russia took Turkey and all this, and Ukraine made provocative moves, Russia moved in, you know, and so therefore now we're fighting a proxy war with Ukraine that may bankrupt the United States for generations. But the United States has to keep that image of we're protecting the poor, we're protecting the downtrodden, and everything like that, but turn a blind eye to the people they support that's actually crushing freedom and democracy.
No, I like I said, I understand that, but I still don't. They've been maintaining that image at their convenience, like when it's convenient for them. When it's convenient, then they use that narrative. But they don't, and then when it's inconvenient, they just ignore it. They'll buy from this Equatorial Guinea guy for
Can I say
decade
something?
after decade. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, I personally believe I get what you're saying. There's always a motive behind it. America really don't care. But I think what happened is social media usage. His son is posting on Instagram every day. People are going to complain. People are going to hashtag and write letters to the CIA, write letters to the U.S. government,
Exactly.
from the U.S. Department
What
of
people?
Foreign Affairs.
I mean, what people and why do they matter?
It does matter.
People do it. People do it. People do it. And Liberian people, from the beginning, George Weah got into office. They will put the number of the U.S. congressman. They will put the numbers on Facebook for the U.S. Department of State, U.S. Department of Foreign Affairs. If you see anything, report it. And these are African people doing it to their own leaders. And
Yeah, but
eventually,
I'll take the reports and I put them in the trash. I mean, what does that have to do with
yeah,
it?
No,
but
because they
after a
show up.
while,
Liberians show up, right? Remember that dude Obed? Remember Obed? This idiot. a whole time-
OBED, right?
Oh yeah, that guy's a
Mhm.
clown, you know.
Yeah.
And this guy, I was like, this guy is dangerous, right? They say he was
Mhm.
General Dirty Water, you know, a rebel, you know. And this guy
Mhm.
basically joined the U.S. military and everything. This guy shows up at Congress events when he'll go to Washington and basically run into random senators and say this is what Ellen's not doing and all stuff like this.
Mhm.
You know, and you don't understand. Africans are not like us. You know, they're not like us. They are when they come after you. They come after you. You know, they come after you. They come after you. They don't care what they that do. Obed started the rumor that Cummings was gay. You know, and he
Yeah.
bragged about that. You know, he bragged about that. You know, and I started the rumor that Cummings was gay. You know, and it stuck. You know, you got to understand what you're doing. You're dealing when you talk about Africa, bro. You're dealing with the majors now. You know, as far as politics, African politics is so sharp and so dangerous, man. You got to know what you're doing. You know, and when somebody they don't like is in power, this is how it usually goes. When you're, especially in Nigeria, when your guy doesn't win, right? You go to London, whatever like that. You wait it out, and while you're there, you're just spreading all kinds of misinformation, whatever you can, like that. You know, to like that. And then when your time comes, you move in. You know, you try to damage the relationship between the England, the France, and everybody else against the people you don't like that's back home in power. You know, you understand how African politics work. You know, the Africans are not docile like black people in America. You know,
I disagree that
No,
I disagree that we're docile, but go ahead.
No, we are docile, you know.
But everybody's docile when it comes to.
Well, let me ask you a question, Mufasa. Right? Tell me why we're the only group of people that can let somebody die in Congress, right? With 50, 60 years in Congress, when white people change their congressmen like they change their underwear. You know,
I mean, some of them. I mean, I've been seeing the same people.
Don't
since
mean
I was
any
a kid.
congressperson.
Nancy
Jill Jackson
Pelosi,
Lee.
Mitch McConnell. That's
a Senate. That's a Senate.
Mm-hmm.
The Senate is different. In fact, the Senate used
Nancy
to be
Pelosi is the House, though.
Yeah, that's the one case, right? In San Francisco, because why? She's in a highly liberal area, right? You know, you expect that, you know. But when you talk about all the black districts in America, right? They never get out of power. Remember Kwesi Mfume? You know, he was speaking up for black people, and they primaried him, right? And got him the hell out of there, you know. And we got Elijah Cummings, you know. Right. So the bottom line, we don't really have any real political representation as far as congressmen. Your congressperson is supposed to bring home the bacon in your district, you know. Nancy Pelosi, say what you want. Right? Her husband are multimillionaires. They got people in a thing that are benefiting from them being in power. The difference is you look at her district or not, and the people that eat in her district, you know, they bring jobs, industries, everything like that to their district. And look at the black districts; they don't believe jack. Black people are leaving black districts in record numbers. Most of us don't even live in majority black congressional districts anymore.
No, I hear you. I still like. I'll say this. Right now, we're in like a political dark age right now. But historically, we've definitely made a lot of movement, a lot of noise politically.
But that was historically. We talk about now.
We're talking about now, but
Yeah.
I said that. I say that to say that right now we're politically routed because we've been suppressed by U.S. military intervention. CIA.
Yeah, but that don't mean you can't go to the poll and say, you know something, man, I want to change. You know.
No, I got you. We're working on it. We'll get back. We'll get back right back to where we was at. But we're talking about a country with somebody in for 44 years. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing going down, and we're docile.
Yeah, but the thing is, hey, my father, it's not the same thing, man, bro. People in Equatorial Guinea,
so don't
you know how
compare
poor they were, man. What exactly are they gonna do? You know,
bro, that's more of a reason they should be doing something like.
But what can they do? You know, the government got guns and secret police, and they arrest people and execute people to even talk. You know, we don't have that in America.
But give us excuses too. I want some of them same excuses.
No.
What can we do when we got CIA agents infiltrating, killing off young leaders every single time we try to get something going? What can we do?
You still believe in that, bro?
100%. 100%.
Come on, Mufasa.
These are facts. Fred Hampton wasn't killed.
Come on, bro.
Fred Hampton wasn't killed.
What?
Fred Hampton wasn't killed by the United States.
Years old, and let me say it. No disrespect to Fred Hampton's memory and everything, but when I look at what he was trying to do, when he was 21 years old, he said that the power is not color; it's about the people and the oppressed. He tried to build a movement based on a social situation, and it's always been about race. To be honest with you, you know, he was 21 years old when he was just a young man without life experience and everything. Yeah, they murdered him. Murdered him in cold blood. You know, but that was, even if he succeeded, years later, like a lot of Panthers, they changed their ideology. They said what we were trying to do and everything like that was not going to work. You know, and a lot of people say, yeah, we were young, we were in our 20s and everything like that. We had this idealized, grandiose how we're going to change, and we went at it the wrong way. We went out with our youth for exuberance. That's what a lot of Black Panther people say nowadays. You know,
but that's within the context of the fact that the way they went about it drew the attention and military force of the government. That's what that's the context in which they're saying they did it wrong.
Yeah, but I know, but so like I said, they did it the wrong way, because let me tell you something, right? There was a lot of people that were basically saying, this is what we need to do. It's going to take time. And also, when you have a movement, you have to know how to manage expectations, right? And delay gratification, right? A lot of our people back then, in 1 year, 1964, is what kicked it all off. In 1964, black people, we started smelling ourselves a little bit. We want this now. We want it all right now. We want civil rights. We want equal equality. We want everything. We want everything to change right now. Blah, blah, blah. It was not going to have to happen overnight. Nobody wanted to see it like that. No one wanted to see it like that. Everybody wanted their cake right then and now. You got to bake the cake. You got to get the materials. You got to do stuff like that. It takes time. It takes education. And the people that will say it's going to take time, we need to educate ourselves. We need to be in positions of power and authority, and we have to basically empower people. And then we'll see change. But when you say tomorrow, man, this system is racist, we got to change it. We got to overthrow it. It's fascist and blah 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 blah. And you're being led by white people like the Weather Underground and all these other people. That's what happened. So now look at it like, something, and what happened was this: the momentum we started, right? It basically the people, the anti-war movement came out of the black movement. The women's movement came out of the black movement, the feminist movement, the gay movement, all these other people, the immigrants, all these people were well organized, right?
Hold on, anti-war. I don't know about that one. You talking about
yes? Let
anti-Vietnam?
me tell you why I say that, right?
Yeah.
The first anti-war thing was with Muhammad Ali, right? Even though there was protests and everything like that, it was sidelined, the Vietnam War. But Muhammad Ali said that I was not going to go and fight war, whatever like that. All the anti-war people gathered to the storm, and it was like a merger between Black Power movements and anti-war movements as one big anti-establishment movement. And then what happened was after the Vietnam War started waning down and everything, these people went back to being white and everything like that. And we were left with nothing.
Right.
The same thing that happens to this day, but black people are smarter now. I'll give you that. Right now, before the Jews were instrumental in the civil rights movement, right? They were always the ones like this. Now, the Jews saying that we still owe them for our help in the civil rights. It was actually black people who put their lives on the line for it, And so the Jews have always been this, okay, they say, okay, we supported Israel, we supported this, and like that, but that's then and this is now. We don't owe you guys anything anymore. Same thing now with the illegal immigrants, right? Where people were like, well, black people, you guys supported the civil rights. The civil rights movement was about immigration in America. Yes, legal immigration. And that has nothing to do with large numbers of people crossing the borders. That's not what we were fighting for. The LGBTQ and whatnot. Martin Luther King's daughter said, my father didn't die civil rights, so two men can marry each other. You see how movements get hijacked?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just know there was this anti-establishment, a bunch of hippies, and there was a lot of people against the Vietnam War because their children were dying. I think they did kind of maybe piggyback on the thing, but I agree with everything else. I just didn't know about the Vietnam War. I felt like people were dying, and I felt like that's what really drove that movement.
Tay Brown says, caller, was he around at the time, a young man? What the hell was he doing? I wasn't alive then, Talking about, the late 60s. I wasn't even born yet. You know what I'm saying? I know what I know from reading books and stuff. I read a lot, My aunts and uncles were in the Black Panther Party. They knew Assad and Shakur and people like that in the Black Panther movement in Queens, New York,
But wait a minute though, Kyla. So you don't believe the military has thwarted our political movements? You think that's just
what do you say military? What branch of the military?
CIA, the executive branch.
CIA is not the military.
CIA was created for subversive activity in World War II. After World War II.
Well, actually, CIA.
It was after World War II because of the Cold War and things.
Okay, let me say this right. The CIA was created not to spy on the U.S. It's illegal for CIA to spy on U.S. citizens. It's the FBI, and stuff like that that was supposed to be working with the CIA, but they butted heads a lot of times. No,
I get, but both of them. I mean, both
the
CIA
and the FBI are two different things. The CIA is a central intelligence agency. They
Okay,
basically
we know that. Let him get to his point now.
No, no, no. I mean, that was my
CIA,
point.
we know it's a different entities and it's a different branch. We know. Let's move on.
No, no, I get that, but the point I'm making is that they are that was military force going against us. When you release the police, like police forces like the FBI and the CIA, right, and you're actually killing people, you're spying on people, you're sabotaging, right, using for this is military force against black political movements. It wasn't like these things just all happened on their own.
Okay, let me ask you a question, right? Okay, now if that's the case, then how did we get from like 300 elected officials to like about 13,000 elected officials during the same time, black elected officials?
Which time are you talking about?
From the 60s, late 60s to the 70s, the number of black people holding mayor stuff, congressional seats and all that.
I mean, that was a concession.
Like that. What?
That was a civil right. That was a civil rights bill was passed,
So
and that was a
in other words,
concession.
so we can't say that they were successful in that thing. You got to understand something, right? What was going on in America, right? America always needs a scapegoat, right? They basically exaggerate the numbers of the Black Panthers. They exaggerated the influence of the Black Panther Party and everything like that. Black Panthers said we were never that strong as they said we were, right? I say that the Black Panthers, right? You got to say that's not how America worked, right? America has this thing, and Charles Manson even said it, right? He came up with a theory that the Black Panthers were going to take over, and there was going to be a day of reckoning for all the stuff. And this is basically the Black Panthers. The mythology behind the Black Panthers was more of a machination of white people than it was actually black people. You know, we looked at them as a source of pride, right? White people looked at, oh my God, this Black Panther Party, they're gonna come and kill us and all like that, and that was not the truth.
Yeah, but every single time we politically form, it doesn't matter if we say the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. It doesn't make a difference. Every single time we politically form to develop a politics that's us first, it's thwarted because white people feel the way that you just described, and white people run the United States, right? And
okay, yeah, that is true. That is true. That white people are threatened by black power, black politics. But let me give you a story, right? Let me give you a story that people that you may have not known about this history, right? And I'm not trying to sound like you're a teacher. I know you're a grown-up student. You're a graduate of College Genesis Academy, you know?
Right.
But there was a man named Floyd McKenzie, right? Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Okay, we played him on this show many times, right? He had a Black Power movement, right? And he was a congressman at the time from Queens, but he was from North Carolina, right? He started a thing called Soul City, you know, which he said we were going to build the prototype Black communities, right, with industrial park zones, the Soul City project, right? And he had the support of guess who? Richard Nixon. Mm-hmm. Richard Nixon said, you know something? What we need in America is real black power. Black people need to freaking control their lives. They need to have business. We need black businessmen, entrepreneurs. We need a black community policing and stuff like that. And I support the Soul City project.
This is after the Kerner Commission. Nixon was the one that did the Kerner Commission, right?
No, it was actually Johnson.
Okay, but he had access to that information.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to make is right. There were several people in high level white America who said, "Okay, I hear you. That part of Black Power, we understand. You know, we understand, right?" But the thing is, though, because there was a alternative to basically at the time we had forced busing and stuff that were thing. He said we need to basically create economic zones and stuff like that for Black communities and stuff like that. That's real Black power. The Black people, for the most part, the political people like Andrew, what's his name from Atlanta? Andrew, what's his name? Andrew Young was against it. only because Nixon supported it. He was against Soul City because he said, we're trying to basically create a colorblind America, and we want to integrate America, black and white. We don't want to have this stuff like this. And so Andrew Young got an alliance with racist Senator Jesse Helms at the time, right, to stop Soul City. And that's Jesse Helms. Why? That'll never be in North Carolina, right? And if you look at the acres of land, it was land that the people that owned everything, they were going to build a prototype city. We're going to play a short video clip of this. A prototype city that was going to have industrial zone. And if that city, Soul City would have worked, but not, it was spread across America, or not. You would have new black subdivisions with jobs, enterprise zones, where you had companies like GM say they would invest and stuff like that. You would have a black America would be different than it is today had that went on. But the so-called people in power, all they want to do is friggin' riot, or they want to do is protest. They want to basically like this. And then the real Black Power movement, right, which was about empowering people and everything like that, took a back seat. And a lot of these people, like Kwame Ada, right, who went to Ghana and founded the Fiancra situation, just gave up on American politics altogether. You see, realize that people in America, black people in America, the political people aren't really serious. And he was a Black Panther member from Detroit, Kwame Ada. So he went to Ghana.
Let me ask you a question, Kala.
Yeah.
In the 1960s, how old was Andrew Young at that time? He was maybe what, in 30s, 40s?
Yeah, old enough.
Yeah, this dude is born in the middle of Jim Crow in the 1960s, and a white man comes to you and says, "Hey, I got an idea. I'm gonna give you guys power." Bro, would you go for that shit?
No, the whole thing was about Andrew Young was his ideology was civil rights and integration. And years later, right, he changed his mind to more pro-black and black power, And I give him credit because him and Maynard Young built a real black middle class in Atlanta, Maynard Young built but it was Maynard Young who actually did that. He just basically came along with it. He made Atlanta what it is right now, Black Atlanta what it is right now. So what I'm saying is, though, it's not about giving black people like we were going to take it. They said we want to build these things and everything like that. And the government can say either we support it or we don't. And fortunately for the Soul City project, we had the Watergate situation. Nixon left office and everything and never got completed. And the place is in ruin right now, And I'm going to play a short 2-minute video. Let me see. I'm going to find it, short 2-minute video. Show you this. Show you this video. It's education. We have to know the whole story about our people, And it was like a coup d'etat. We don't want no Soul City and whatnot. Why? Because that takes too much work. It's easy to sit on a street corner complaining and getting money from white donors, complaining about this. Once the white people got their gay rights and their Vietnam War's over, the money dried up. And that's what happened. Trying to teach some history here.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I still the way you're framing it, it's coming from Nixon, right?
No, it's not coming from Nixon. Nixon had nothing to do with it. Floyd McKenzie. Remember that name?
Right.
Floyd McKenzie was a great African-American leader. A great African-American leader. I mean, one of the best leaders we ever had, and we basically dropped the ball, So let me see if this is a good video I could play. I'm going to send it to Bomani. So everything is not about the white man doing something, sometimes
I don't see how it's not. I don't see how it's not. I want to do that, man. What you're saying, it sounds good because it sounds like bravado and, but if we're going to ignore the power imbalance here, we're going to just ignore it. It's hard to do that, man.
Yeah, I know, but how do you?
It's hard to do that.
We're going to talk about power or not. We have to gain power.
I agree with that.
You got to gain power. You can't sit there and say, black people talk about, oh, we don't have no power. Nope. Let me tell you something, right? You ever watch that show, Dallas?
No.
Okay, before your time, Well, Jock Ewing knows the Ewing family, right? You had little Bobby. You had JR, who was like an asshole. I love JR. Larry Hagman, I Dream Regime. He was a son or whatever. Like him and sons always battle over power and that. And Jock Union had to step down from Ewing Oil, right? And then Bobby said to him, it's one episode, the most powerful episode, right? He said, you gave me the power, right? And Jock Ewing, the father, said, let me tell you something, son. You're going to learn this, right? Real power is never given. Real power is taken. And when you understand that, you understand why I'm still in charge. I gave you the power. No, you don't give somebody power. Power is taken. And that's what I say about Black people in America. We're docile. We don't know how to take power. Power is never given. Power is taken by force.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like the position we're in, we're
the position we're in because we don't want real power. We don't have power because we don't want it. We don't want to build infrastructure. We don't want to organize. We don't want to get behind leaders and whatnot that want to build stuff. When everybody want to do their own little thing, and that's why we don't come together and we don't have power.
Why are we that way?
I have no idea. I've been out here for years. I had the BAIO for years. What we're doing in Liberia whatnot right now with this tour, the first of many tours, and we're gonna build like that. That is taking power. Nobody's giving it to us.
The reason we're that way, you don't think it has to do with social engineering and propaganda?
Well, if it's that, then I would be like that.
That's not true.
I would be like that. I would be like that. Like that, right? Because I read history and I read Marcus Garvey said, nobody has the last word on civilization and power. Nobody has the last say. And you understand something? Why you have groups like Hamas out there, the ISIS and everything? Why? Because they understand power is not like this. People are going to take power. The only people in the world that don't see it that way are Black people, and particularly docile Black people. The thugs and the gangs and whatnot in the community that have everybody terrorized will not realize that. The King Vons and all that.
Mufasa is right. It's part of simple. Mufasa is correct. We're like that because it's part of the plan to be like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Hamas was incubated, and basically the people before them saw to it that they weren't impacted so heavily by the propaganda. We grew up in America in the middle of a propaganda machine, right? 100% dependent on American institutions, which at some point are all white ran. You can't compare us to Hamas. That's the reason we have Crips and Bloods. They have terrorist organizations because we're under propaganda that wants it to be that way. Well,
the bottom line is this: if Black people were serious, right? Serious, they could say, "Hey, look, we say Chicago is our city, whatnot. We're going to take the city over. We're going to take the city over. We're going to round up the gangs. We're going to do whatever we got to do to round up the gangs. If we have to shoot it out with the police, we have to do whatever. We're not going to live on that. We're going to take power away from City Hall. We're going to do it. It's happened before."
No, I agree with you, Kyla. I agree with you. This is the only place, because we still got to fix it. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I don't think we could we have to put the situation in its right context, right? We have to look at our people and realize they're like this for a reason. They're not like this just because we want to be. You see what I'm saying? It's not just because we want to be. I mean,
nobody wants to be like this. I get that, but the whole thing is Black people in America, where, like I said early in the show, right? It boils my blood when I see this guy, Equatorial Guinea, in power, President Biya in Cameroon in power, and all these other people doing something, and we can't do anything about it. Why? Because we resigned to be Americans. We wear American flag, and American policy is not going to. When white America, let me give you an example, right? You remember when the Spanish-American War broke out? You know the story about that?
Yeah.
What happened? The blow of what? The USS Maine. Remember that?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Now everybody in America believed the Spanish blew it up, but it was a boiler room that actually blew it up, right?
Yep.
America was so angry at Spain and whatnot. It went to war against Spain and took the Philippines and everything like that, and had to settle with the Treaty of Paris. The reason why is because America has the ability act on this will. We don't have that because we settled to be America. You know, America's never, the only time in history that we ever exerted any power is when we came together and crushed South Africa with those sanctions. That was the only time in history where our will was prevailed on the international scene. That's the only time, you know, that I know of. You know, black people in America basically lobbied congressmen, like everything like that, and we brought South Africa, the apartheid government of South Africa, to its knees.
Yeah, and they countered that.
Well, how they countered it? They lost.
No. They lost that battle, but they countered by consolidating media power and radio power and all those things. And now all of our people are pretty much under white owned and controlled.
No, we have social media. We have people running around saying they're the new black media and all stuff like that.
I know, and if those people say, and if you say the wrong thing, you get a strike on your channel. So you got to watch what you say.
Yeah, so
we're all under white. All our voices are controlled.
Well, I know everybody on YouTube, everybody like that is almost so far you can do. I get that. Yeah. You know, but before there was YouTube and all that, we were lobbying. We got the message out. One night we had brick and mortar meetings. We would go around to this person one night. We got stuff done without the internet, without social media, without computers.
I mean, and we could do it again. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just
saying, I know, but people know
that's the reason it's that way. Yeah, that's the reason it's that way.
And they know by giving everybody a YouTube channel, right? They got clowns on YouTube and whatnot, you know. Everything in YouTube now is how many subscribers you got and whatnot. As soon as you argue with somebody, he got this many subs. Watch anybody, right? And I like a lot of people, right? When they start beefing with each other, right? First thing they go at is, I got 10,000 more subs than you do. And the white man sitting back laughing, you know. You know, you guys are going by how many subscribers you got.
Who said? I've never heard nobody say that.
Yo, okay, Mufasa, sit back for a second, right? I love my brother O'Shea Jackson. He does that a lot.
Okay. I haven't listened to O'Shea in a while, man.
O'Shea's my best.
I can't really do the King Ganda. I go on there.
I love King Ganda. I love that, man.
I don't like King Ganda, man.
I love it, man. O'Shea's got something there.
I watch it sometimes when he's there, and then he'll put
something. He got something going on there,
bro.
Man.
I don't want to hear what them people got to say. You ain't on the show, man.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
Yeah. So he got something there. You know, Angry Man does it all too. You go, look how many subs I got. One night, look, I'm the best that ever did this shit. You know.
Yeah, I don't listen to him either.
Tariq does the same thing. You know, get your subscribers up.
Okay, I see. Okay, now I get it. Now I get
it. See?
I don't listen to none of these people.
And the bottom line is that you got this guy with 500 million subscribers. You know, Mr. Beast and whatnot. You know, he dares drill some boreholes from some Africans and whatnot, and everybody's like, "Oh man, how dare you!" Blah 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 blah. You know,
I want to know what is heritage. What do you think about that? Did you see that story?
Oh, what story is this?
No, I'm asking Whaley, I think it is.
Wayne.
The Mr. Beast drilling boreholes and, you know, saving the African savages. Did you see the story of Mr. Beast drilling boreholes all over Africa?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear of it? Oh, can you play it for her?
Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, I mean we don't got to do it right now, but yeah.
We can do it right now.
Yeah, because once I finish cooking, I'm going to bed.
Okay, well,
I'm a full-time mom.
We'll play. Hold up.
Yeah,
back in the States, or you back?
And then we can close in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
I've been cooking the whole time. I didn't make use of my time. If I'm gonna be up late, let me be up late doing something.
You getting the video, Bomani?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You saying it's right for a coup in Equatorial Guinea?
Oh well, I don't want to see a coup happen, but the bottom line is this: you know, when the people.
What's the alternative?
Yeah, what's the alternative? A coup has to happen. Change has to happen. How long has that guy been in office? You see his mansion in Potomac, Maryland? His children, Theodoro. Nah, man. Let it
See,
cool
Africans
happen.
know all this stuff.
You said what?
I said Africans from the continent know all this stuff. They know these people ain't shit, you know? They know these people ain't shit. But these people got cover from us because we defend them because they're black. We go with our whataboutisms, you know? Well, we can't get any place. And that's why a lot of Africans resent black people in America. They
But
know
we don't really speak on their politics like that, though.
Well, when it concerns black people in the black world, it's all the same thing, you know? They have a right to speak on us, then we can speak on them.
The thing is, Black Americans, mainstream Black Americans, regular Black Americans may not speak on it, but the thing is, these people in office, they take that one picture with Jesse Jackson. They take that one picture with Al Sharpton. So it's like when they do that, it's like Black America is siding with them.
Exactly. I've been saying that for years, you know? And that's why a lot of resentment.
Maybe back in the 80s or whatever. When
No,
Jesse
it happens
Jackson
to this
was
day.
relevant.
Happens to this
But
day.
I'm saying,
it happens even up to now. Even up to now. A lot of local government officials that's in Houston, Texas. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it so they can hear. Because I know they're listening too. they were in favor with so many people in the last government in Liberia. That is like, if this person in the government said, don't work with this lady right here, they just sideline me. Even though they called me, we talked before, they like my ideas, they want us to partner, but because one person in the government has a problem with me, so it's like, yeah, so it's all the Black city government officials in Houston, Texas, yeah, I'm putting it out there. They all take pictures with these government officials because they know what they're getting.
It's like I'm reassuring that they're in power. You know, Jesse Jackson still had a guy, my guy, Barrington, talk about, yeah, man, can you get us a meeting with Jesse Jackson? I said, Jesse Jackson? You guys still talking about Jesse Jackson? You know, the Rainbow Push back in the, you know, and these people have one foot in the grave, and you got people still sitting there. I need a photo op with Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. Oh, the new one is Ben Crump. You know, I want to get with Ben Crump, and that basically said to everybody, oh, Black Americans, prominent Black Americans, they support us and when our corrupt government and everything like that. These people know what they're doing. They're playing you.
I don't know. I still don't really see it. Because here's the thing: if I'm an official and a representative from Liberia or Equatorial Guinea or whatever, how am I to know? I mean, you guys are allowing these people to be in office, man. I'm dealing with the representatives placed in front of me. I don't see African
these people
Americans
don't get
supporting these people.
intel? How can you not know in this age of Google? You know.
No, but at the end of the day, though, these are the representatives that are there. What am I supposed to do? These are the representatives that are there. Like, I can't just because I disagree with the president, right? He's still the sitting president. It is what it is. That's between you guys to fix that.
Then you can take the picture, but don't take his trips. But you would take his trips, and you will go to Liberia with your 20 officials. Y'all will have the best of the best time, and you guys will promote Liberia on your site. They do it.
Oh, I'm not privy to that. I was just saying I don't see African Americans using their voice to like defend, because we do that with our politicians, right? If they do any criticism, we'll say, "Oh, it's racism."
Oh, let me go check us out, brother.
Republican.
A couple of decades ago, Nana Rawlings came to Harlem, right? Now, I'll never forget this as long as I live. This is what made me start thinking, right? She came to Harlem, right? And basically, she got a world study tour with Black America, spoke at the Abyssinian Baptist Church and everything like that. And the Ghanaians were heated, you know? They were heated, you know? And then President John Kufuor of Ghana, right, came to America, right? He was hobnobbing with the Bushes and everything. That's how the George Bush Highway is built in Ghana. You know, and they were saying, you know, look, a lot of these people go to Black America, and Black America introduces them to these people and everything. And these people are not doing what they're supposed to do back home. But we can't talk about them because as soon as the average Ghanaian sees that they're with these powerful, important people in America, it silences them. And that's what happens.
No, I hear what you're saying. I still just don't see. I mean, y'all got to run your politics, man. I can't. I can only deal with who they have.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like this. Nobody asks the hard questions when you get in front of them. Nobody says, "Hey, look, we have concerns about this. We have concerns about that." All they do is just talk about, "Oh yeah, the president of such and such came here, and we like this." Nobody in Black America ever asks hard questions of African leaders, and African leaders know that. We have an Africa worship thing,
So what would you expect? What would be like the proper behavior?
The proper behavior
we
is
should
basically
put pressure on our representatives.
Here's the thing.
press
Here's the thing,
Africans.
brother. Here's the thing. I'll answer in one sentence, right? We have to stop being interested in Africa, right? As a spectator, and have an interest in Africa, right? Our interest in Africa is seeing our mother continent grow, and stuff like that, right? Why? Because we'll benefit from a strong Africa. Like Randall Robinson of Trans Africa. You ever heard of him? Former president of Trans Africa, Randall Robinson. He said, if Africa's strong, we're strong. If Africa's weak, we're weak. Randall Robinson, it was common back in the 90s. He handcuffed himself to the Nigerian embassy back in the 90s, protesting corruption in Nigeria, in DC. And basically they were like, oh, how dare you? Blah, blah. That was a Black person in America using his position to bring light to what was going on in Nigeria.
I don't know. I mean, I'm confused by that because I see almost no interest in Africa, in Black America today.
Well, I see a lot.
I hired a South African to work for me on my last project I just did. She was surprised I even heard of Johannesburg. She said when she talks to most of us, we don't even know that South Africa is a country.
She's ignorant. She's ignorant because if you look at it, Black people in America,
she's very ignorant. How can you
Black
not
people in America have been in South Africa.
But she just
Black people have been in South Africa as long as they've been in Liberia. The first Black community in South Africa were African Americans.
All this stuff is in the 70s and 80s.
No, I'm talking about 100 years ago, 150 years ago.
When you go to Cape Town, Cape Town has a large influence of Black American culture. When you see like their marching bands and things like that.
No, so this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm telling you, in 2023, right here in San Diego, I met a South
But that's
African.
San Diego. I used to live in San Diego. I used to live in Chula Vista. Those people don't know anything about Africa.
Come to the East Coast of America.
No, I hear that. But what I'm saying is,
the Black people in San Diego, I don't even consider them Black. They're lost.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Majority of them, 90% of them.
Yeah,
90% of them. The only thing, they're so whitewashed, man. That was one of the reasons why I came back to the East Coast.
You were in Chula Vista though. You weren't in the Southeast.
Same difference. All the black guys in San Diego, all they want is white or Spanish women. They have the same mentality, if not even worse. What am I doing raising 2 Black boys over there? My oldest son, he asked me why his hair looks like this, and I said, you know what? It's time to go back to the East Coast. That's why I'm back in the East Coast.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that.
You come to Harlem, you come to New York and whatnot. You come to Philly, which is large African
South Africa,
DC area.
The person is ignorant. South Africa.
This is what I'm saying. I'm just
how many
saying,
Mandela movies? How many Mandela movies we made?
Can you imagine South Africa? And that's somebody who's not educated.
She's sharing her experience. Let him finish. But once you finish, Ms. Foster, I got the video to play.
We can move on. I was just saying she was just telling me her experience of her talking to people, and that was the responses she would get. She would say that I'm from South Africa, and people would think she meant the south of Africa. So they say where? She say Johannesburg, and they think it was a country. That was
they run into some ignorant Black people, and that's all of us.
Yeah, but it's not all of us. But what I'm saying is, generally, there's no general like in the 90s. In the 90s, there was a general awareness of Africa. In 2023, it's not like that anymore.
We have people know about the continent. I think there's more people. I'm surprised. Let me tell you something. This thing, right? When I used to get on social media, I used to dominate conversations on Africa. The tribe, people like, whoa, God. Now I get on there and I got people that know a lot. There's been a lot.
That's the internet, Khaled. That's not the real.
Well, what I'm saying, I know, but I'm saying it also, I meet people all the time, right? I meet people in my business and everything like that. Oh yeah, I've been to Ghana. Oh, I've been to this country. Oh yeah, my brother came back from Kenya, wherever like that. It's quietly, we're not maybe like, oh yeah, Africa like that. But there's a lot of Black people in America who pick up the encyclopedia, pick up stuff, and they learn about this, learn about stuff like that. They know they got to live in America. We got to do our thing here. So it's not maybe pronounced as people might think it is, but don't think that Black people in America don't know what's going on the continent.
I think so. I just filmed a dental conference. It was a sister in there. She was an AKA dentist. We talked for like an hour afterward. She herself has actually been to Africa. She went to Kenya, right? She didn't even know the name of where she went, and she needed a map to figure out where it was. She had to open up her Google Maps or whatever. So she's been to Africa, still doesn't know anything about Africa.
Well, and there's a lot of people
countries I was mentioning.
There's a lot of people who go to Georgia.
They go Mufasa. Mufasa's on point. Color's always trying to come up with some ways to try to like Color. Let's be real, man.
Look, it's like this. It's like this.
Color has some stupid people out there that have little to no knowledge on things, to where they literally,
but there's a lot of people who don't know a lot about.
You may be in chat rooms and you hear some people that have some decent conversation, and then again, I question the things that they talk about and things like that. But I mean, just try to listen to what Mufasa is explaining, and I mean, the level of ignorance out there. You have people that will get up and travel to different parts of Africa and even go places and things like that, and it's nothing cultural and it's nothing historical and it's nothing educational in general. And it's just, I'm just going here to hang out and going here to do certain things. And so there may be more people even interested in going, but is it even about Pan-Africanism or building anything or connecting to anything? I mean, I don't know. Maybe we all see different things, because I know I see a little bit of everything, and I see a lot of ignorance and stupidity, but I also see some people in the world living and doing business and investing. But I mean, what's the level of percentage on those things? Is it a whole lot of people really just down for this movement just because they're going to Africa?
No, I'm not saying that. I never said that.
I would say it's a very small percentage that's even understand what they're even doing.
What I'm saying, Bomani, and even you, Kala, when you talk to people, like when I talk to people from Africa or whatever, just you knowing a few things. I mean, we know more than a few things. People are totally they're totally blown away. They're like, how do you know that? You know that leader? You heard of that? You knew this country? They're totally blown away. You know why? Because people don't know that stuff.
But here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you too, like this, right? When I lived in New York, right? I lived in New York. Everybody from outside New York knew everything about New York and everything. When I talk about this city, where they came from. Never heard of it, bro. Never heard of the city, never heard of the town. Like that. Yeah, of course. That's just the way it is, So it's like this, if you have an interest in something, you're going to know about it. You're going to know about it. People from Africa know about us because we're all in the media and everything like that. So we're not going to know about them because Africa is not broadcasted or thing. I have never yet, for the most part, never seen African modern skyline on the mainstream media. They cover that up, without social media. Remember, social media thought the Africa never show you. That's true. Why?
Yeah, but
all right. Well, let me play this video before I forget about this video. Wayne, are you up? I'm gonna play this video. Kala wanted me to play it for you. This is one he asked if you have heard about.
Okay, I'm watching.
So this is Mr. Beast, Bill Wells in Africa. This is the one. Is it White Savior or something else?
Heard of the term white savior complex. It's a trope used in movies and literature. It shows a white person as a messiah-like figure. This person liberates other communities, saves the non-whites, and emerges as the hero. And why are we talking about this tonight? Because of an American YouTuber called Mr. Beast. He has more than 200 million subscribers. So he's really famous. Recently, Mr. Beast decided to build 100 wells in Africa. Wells. This project will touch the lives of 500,000 people. Sounds like an act of charity, but he's being slammed for it. Why? Because his critics say he's milking poverty for views. They say it's exploitation. So what is it? White savior complex or philanthropy? Our next report tells you.
Meet Mr. Beast, also known as Jimmy Donaldson. He's 25 years old. He has 209 million subscribers on YouTube. As of 2023, he is the highest paid YouTuber with an estimated net worth of $500 million. But Mr. Beast says he has no intentions of keeping the fortune to himself. In fact, he wants to give it away. So the YouTuber turned to philanthropy. Which brings us to his latest philanthropic deed, or should I say controversy. It all started on November 4th. That's when Mr. Beast uploaded a 10-minute video. The caption read, "I built 100 wells in Africa." The video shows him building wells across the continent, in Cameroon, Kenya, Somalia, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. These will provide drinking water to 500,000 people. He also donated supplies to schools, built a bridge in a village, and even donated bikes to children. Sounds like a good deed, right? Or is it? Well, the internet is divided. African activists are calling it the white savior complex. They say that they have been trying to do the same thing for years, but always got stuck in paperwork and funding. However, an American YouTuber could just jet into the continent, build wells, and suddenly he gets all the attention. Meanwhile, others said it was disrespectful. They said Mr. Beast was enforcing Western stereotypes, the same stereotypes that say Africa is poor and desperate for handouts. Some critics even accused him of exploiting poverty, of using acts of kindness to generate views. So there was a lot of criticism, a lot of negative comments, and a lot of backlash, but they don't seem to have affected Mr. Beast. He says he doesn't care and that he even anticipated the backlash, but he will continue to do what he does. Now, this isn't the first time Mr. Beast has come under fire. His acts of philanthropy have often been a double-edged sword. Some people laud him, others say he's feeding off the poor. That said, Mr. Beast has built an empire on these videos and philanthropy. He once sponsored cataract surgery for 1,000 people. Another time, he bought prosthetic limbs for 2,000 amputees. Those videos are popular, and they gave him much needed recognition and boosted his influence on YouTube and across the globe. But does that mean it's only for the views? Let's look at the facts. Yes, Mr. Beast makes money off these videos. That's a fact. But this money is helping people. That's also a fact. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. The people he helped are better off, like the villages in Africa that now have drinking water. Meanwhile, millions of his subscribers get the content that they like, and he makes money off it. Sounds like a win-win situation. But the internet remains divided. Tell us what you think.
Now, if Mr. Beast went to Equatorial Guinea and built wells and everything like that, when the president and his son and everything, this is a thing that shows me that part of our psyche in the black race has not matured, right? We don't have any smoke for the president of Equatorial Guinea who lives in opulence around the world with his family and everything like that. But we have smoke for this guy, Mr. Beast, who's doing the right thing because he makes some views off of YouTube, whatever like that, you know? And this is what we're talking about tonight, you know? And what happens is the people, like Wayne said, Africans, you know, for the most part, you know, people are jealous of each other. They're like this guy said, one of them said, well, we were trying to do this. We couldn't do it. We couldn't need the funding. You didn't have the funding. I'm sure if everybody on this panel had $1 billion, we'd be doing the same thing. But we don't. Since we don't have that, so and this guy has that, we can't say anything about it. You know, but what you can do is hold the people that do have the money responsible for buying Lamborghinis and shopping sprees and everything off their people's money and not spreading the wealth, not doing what he's doing. Why isn't the people that for Equatorial Guinea, the presidents and all these other people that's robbing the country building wells like this? Then there will be a balance there, but there isn't. You know, so I want to hear what Wayne has to say about this. Wayne, you there?
Yeah, I am. Sorry, my hands were wet. I didn't want the water to get into my phone. Well, what can I say? This has been going on since the beginning of time. We need the white man to help us. We need the white man to put basic facilities such as wells, the basic of the basic. So I don't know what else to say. If Black people online are getting mad about it, Africans per se are getting mad about it. I don't know. What can I say? What can I do? It is what it is. That's the way Africa works.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, what I want to know is, how much is he building the well for? That's what I want to know, because there's a lot of people in Liberia who build wells. I don't know if I should name the names or not, because I really don't give a damn about them. But they could build one well, one latrine. They can build it because at that time, my children's father, he used to work for one white organization guy named David Waynes. You can look him up. He's a freaking molester. He's a child molester, and he's a rapist. So finally, when he finally got arrested for raping, I said, oh, so this is what my children's father used to tell me about. That this guy would go to Tiba County. He's a church missionary guy, David Waynes, and he will sleep with 8-year-old little girls, 8-year-old, 9-year-olds in Tiba County. Anyways, he was building wells. And even with his arrest and everything, his organization name, what's the name of his? Equip. Look up Equip, EQUIP. They still getting contracts from USAID. USAID that denied me contract, me, Liberian Heritage Society, the organization. I've used thousands of dollars of my own money. They would bless you. They would deny me contracts, financial aid, but they would still give money to this David Waynes guy. So that's just the way it is in Africa. At the end of the day, it's more money for them, and the money will return back to the US, the money will return back to Canada, the money will return back to Europe. So I don't know. What can I say? That's just the way the world works when it comes to Africa. I don't know. You have organizations who want to do well, and for whatever reason, they feel like I can't handle the project. You know how hard it is to do projects from the phone? People like Liberian people born in Liberia, even amazed, how the hell can I do all of this from a cell phone?
Well, I had made the statement that he didn't have to make the video. What do you think about that?
Well, you don't have to make the video, but you have to show account for what you did. Wow. But yeah, you don't have to make the video for so people can know where the money's going to. But you don't have to make the video.
Yeah, I was saying you didn't have to make the video, and you didn't have. I thought they were going to show you the actual video. It's like a bunch of kids, a bunch of stage cheering,
that's what the donors want to see. At the end of the day, sometimes that's what they want to see.
Yeah. He's not running an organization. This is straight out of his pocket.
Oh, it's straight out of his pocket?
Yeah.
Let him do it. He's doing it, right? Because there's a lot.
She cut out.
No, I'm here. I think it was Bomani who was trying to mute me. What, you want me to get off now? You want to mute me? Or shall I continue?
No, yeah. There's an issue with your plane. I'm not sure if you can hear any of this, Wayne, but you either have something else playing at the same time on your phone or whatever you're using. So when Mufasa's talking, we can hear him through your audio. And when I'm talking, I can hear myself in your background.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how to mute it then.
There's a feedback.
I don't know how to get rid of it. Sorry.
Yeah, we're doing good for a while.
It's all good. Go ahead with what you was about to say.
Anyway, let's wrap it up. Anyways, if anybody can just give their final thoughts, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let them talk on that, and I want to end with that 1980 coup in Liberia. Why that was different, why that was significant. You know, I want to end with that. You know, so cutting it short. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, one other thing to say about the 1980 coup in Liberia was different was the fact that that was definitely a CIA engineered coup. You know, and the reason why is because, like, they overreacted with the Black Panther Party. They overreacted in Liberia about Liberia moving closer to the Soviet Union, China, Russia, Libya, and Cuba, and all stuff like that. And also, Liberia took a stand against the United States involved in the Angolan War, right? But just like the coup in Iran, they can't just say, you know something, we don't want Talbot out. Right? So they had to engineer this whole thing about the native Liberians and the American. They created this group of people that never existed called American Liberians. You know, Liberians are Liberians when you meet them. You know, it's Liberians who have education, got experience in the world, and it's Liberians that don't. And that's the difference. No matter what background they come from, there's no real difference between so-called American and stuff like that. You know, I've known them for years. You know, they may see the world differently. They may see play out differently, but what they exaggerated the conflict between the two groups of people as if they were native Liberians, like the Fambalas and the Massaquois, who were very prominent in the government at the time. You know, the Massaquoi family is the ones who brokered the deal in the bong mines. You know, that was very significant in Liberia. So the largest investment in Black Africa, the bong mines. You know, but to reduce Liberia to indigenous American Liberia, and there was also poor so-called American Liberians. You know, working class poor American Liberians who didn't have anything. So therefore, they engineered a coup and said that's the reason for the coup. You know, because this group of people was oppressed like this. The truth of the matter is Liberia was moving away from the United States geopolitically. You know, geopolitically. And so that's the engineer of that coup. And when that coup happened, people were shocked because they never thought that a coup of that magnitude could happen in Liberia. And to let people know that a coup can happen any place in Africa, because all you have to do is sell the coup to the world. Like, oh yeah, this happened because this. When it was the United States and all these other people that were behind the coup in the first place, instigating things from the first place. And the fall off from Liberian coup was the world has this thing where they don't believe any African country is stable. So we have to keep a dictator in power. We'll give him a little beating once in a while, like the 60-minute report and everything. But they would rather have that person who can keep the gun pointed at the people's head than a ravenous coup. Because what you have in Africa is the fact that the West have sold the world the idea that Africa is ungovernable, that it needs strong men to run the countries and everything, strong men that do their bidding. Now, when the coup happens, that they want to replace corrupt governments on their own, suddenly coups are condemned, like you see in West Africa right now, with Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. The world's condemning the coups and whatnot. But just before that, right, they would say that coups are a bad thing, you know, are a good thing, you know, a bad thing. But my point I'm trying to make is this, though. When you see a coup in Africa, for the most part, it has to be green lighted. Up until now, it had to be green lighted by somebody in the outside. Because the first thing they do when you have a coup is you call your Western handler. Okay, we got this person out of power that wasn't doing a bidding. Now what can we do for now? That's not happening in Niger, people. They're kicking the actual Europeans out. And I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. Did not negotiate. They even kicked the Russians out, you know, as far as the gold mining. So therefore, what you have right now is a change of government that's coming from the people, you know, and the West doesn't have any hand to play in this. So that's all I want to say about that.
Yeah, I don't got no closing words or nothing. You know, good show.
All right, Winnie, let's see if we can hear you now. It sounded like you had two things playing.
I still have something else playing playing in the background.
You're good now.
Oh, okay. Well, I enjoyed tonight's conversation, and
as soon as we all speak, we can hear through your.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
We all have to basically mute ourselves.
Oh, okay, no problem. Well, I enjoyed tonight's conversation. I think that we should have more conversations about, you know, African American involvement in Africa, and even Africans' involvement in Black America or African America, if that makes sense. You know, because as you can see, the world is becoming smaller thanks to immigration, number one, and thanks to social media. So I think that we need to become more involved in each other's politics. That's the only way that we can have, you know, a voice in the world as Black people. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Wayne.
Wayne. We appreciate your energy, and I'm gonna close us out with some closeout music and play a slideshow. And family, all of the details to join us are below. And family, there you go. Some nice slideshow from our website, and we get some of our classical music. And we'll catch back up with you next time. Unfortunately, family, we're tied up with work, more work, and more work. So you don't see us all online as much as you used to, but we're working to build that move in Africa. So here's some nice sounds from my good brother Ijanoa. Wake up.
We have to go and do it, you know.
Trapped by the demons of the beast. They are trying to destroy your mind and spirit, your heart and soul, your divine control before they violate your body and destroy your world. They are waging all kind of warfare to distract and confuse your mind. Break them shackles, break them chains, don't let them control your brain. Break them shackles, break them chains, even though them change your name. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, free your mind. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, free your mind. If they control your mind, they can control your thoughts. If they control your thoughts, they can control your actions. Prompting you to take their baits that will lead you to self-destruction. With your self-defeating, self-destructive actions, doing exactly what they want. As you fall in their traps,